Chapter 116. Winter vacation started not long after the concert ended. Zhuoyichen didn't have to go to school, so he had more time. He spent most of his time filming on set and only occasionally went home to visit his family. Chu Xiang also went shopping with Mother Zhua a few times. She gave all the photos she took to Mother Zhua and even helped with the graphic design of the photo album. They were so familiar with each other that it was as if they had known each other for a long time. Zhuoyichen became familiar with everyone on set. Director Chen also liked him very much. He would give him a few pointers when he saw that he was learning about directing in his free time. Then, Zhuoyichen would sit behind the director to watch the filming and learn from Director Chen when he was free. In this way, Chu Xiang and Zhuoyichen basically sat together and often laughed. They openly became familiar with each other. He also changed the way he addressed Chu Xiang from Sister Chu Xiang to Chu Xiang. After all, there were so many people around, and Sister Chu Xiang sounded strange. Zhuoyichen obviously became more cheerful when he could be with his good friends on set. From time to time he would make jokes that made everyone laugh. He would even play with a supporting male lead, showing the youthful vigor that only belonged to an 18-year-old. A motivated young man with a good character would be liked wherever he went. Zhuoyichen and Chu Xiang were very popular on set. Even Director Chan and Professor Lin took special care of them and taught them a lot. Once, when Professor Lin asked Chu Xiang to analyze the footage, Chu Xiang and Zhuoyichen leaned in front of the screen and looked at it seriously for a while. Chu Xiang said, "I don't think this shot is suitable. You can pull the camera a little further away or change the angle because the female lead's mouth shape is too obvious. If you do the dubbing later, you might be able to tell that the mouth shape doesn't match up. We might have to pay special attention to this problem during filming in the future. For example," she said, "have you thought about my feelings when you left without saying goodbye? I've been looking for you for 3 whole months. Every single time I've searched the streets and alleys. I've searched for you in vain, even in my dreams. In the end, you left me for such a ridiculous reason." Chu Xiangyan's lines were read according to the rhythm and emotions that the female lead should have. At the end, there was even a hint of sobbing. It completely overlapped with the female lead's expression in the video. Then she returned to her normal voice and said, "There are too many words here. From this angle, it's easy to not match the words." This was the problem of the female lead's Mandarin not being good. They could only find someone to do the dubbing. Occasionally, the shape of some words would be different from Mandarin. If they were edited, it would be very obvious. Professor Lin nodded in satisfaction. "That's right. Your observation is very detailed." Director Chen narrowed his eyes in surprise and asked, "Chu's lines, have you practiced before?" Chu Xiang froze for a moment. She had already won an Oscar in her previous life, so she was very familiar with acting and lines. When she was looking for a problem, she subconsciously recited the lines. The original owner really didn't know how to do this. She could only smile and say, "Yes, I used to like acting very much. I studied it for a long time. Later I felt that editing was very magical, so I studied it." Professor Lin was also quite surprised. "You have such talent. Hey old Chen, why don't you let Chu try dubbing?" Director Chen had the same idea. "Chu, what do you think?" Chu Xiang smiled. "If Director Chen likes it, I'll be very honored." Director Chen asked Chu Xiang to recite 2 more lines and handed the task of dubbing the female lead to her with a smile. Zhuoyichen had been watching Chu Xiang from the side. He felt that she seemed to be shining. He found another good thing about her and even began to admire her. How was he her idol? She was more like his idol. This movie was a movie with a male lead. It mainly focused on the story of the male lead from an aristocratic family's young master to a miserable and downtrodden warlord. The female lead didn't have a lot of scenes, but she appeared from the beginning to the end of the movie. She appeared at every important moment in the male lead's life and had a torturous love story with the male lead. And now, although Chu Xiang didn't participate in the filming, she was dubbing every word and voice of the female lead. When Chu Xiang practiced editing, She integrated her voice into the film seamlessly. Sometimes Zhuo Yichen would watch from the side. It really sounded like he and Chu Xiang were in a torturous love story. It made his ears burn. Something had unknowingly sprouted in his heart, but he hadn't noticed it yet. Zhuo Yichen had lost 5 kilograms during filming. He was already a skinny teenager to begin with, so after losing weight and putting on miserable makeup, he really looked as thin as a skeleton. If any stars saw him like this, they might not be able to recognize him. Zhuo Yichen didn't have the burden of being an idol at all. He rolled in the mud and stuffed rice into his mouth without hesitation. This made director Chen very satisfied and won the admiration of the entire crew. During filming, Zhuo Yichen only appeared at the Spring Festival Gala and the New Year's Eve party. He performed on stage with his 3 brothers. The rest of the time, he was in seclusion with the crew. Took 3 whole months to finish filming. After that, he quickly regained his normal weight and participated in endorsement activities and commercials. When the fans saw him, they realized that after losing weight and regaining his normal weight, he looked a little different from before. He had completely grown up and lost all his baby fat. Instead, he looked more handsome and manly. In general, he was more handsome, charming, and manly. However, before the fans could rejoice, Zhuo Yichen went back to school and went into seclusion. Professional knowledge wasn't something that could be learned in just a few classes. He had to calm down and study hard. Last semester, Zhuo Yichen was filming and holding concerts. He flew through the final exams at a low altitude. When the class report card was posted online, many haters mocked him online. He didn't feel embarrassed, but this was a wake-up call for him. This semester, he planned to spend most of his time on his studies. He rejected many high-quality resources and focused on his classes. Some of his fans and stars stopped being his fan. They said that they hadn't seen him for a few months. He was like a missing person. They didn't have the energy to continue being his fan. The company was a little anxious. Zhuo Yichen was so popular before and was the top of the group. He was already at the top of the entertainment industry. It was time for them to make a lot of money by using the popularity. However, Zhuo Yichen had been in seclusion. This was a waste of popularity. However, when Zhuo Yichen saw that Xia Zhou had no time to improve his acting skills because he was busy with work, he firmly resisted the company's decision. He had to spend more time in school. The company talked to Zhuo Yichen more than 10 times. In the end, they had no choice but to intercept as many resources as possible and distribute them to the other 3. There were less than 2 years left on the company's contract with the group. Naturally, they wanted to make more money. Geng Xian and the other 3 called Zhuo Yichen to discuss this matter. Zhuo Yichen advised them to improve themselves if they had the chance. As for the company giving them his resources, he didn't care. He had already rejected them. It would be best if they could improve themselves. After all, they were good brothers. Because of the company's decision, Geng Xian and the other 2 each appeared on a popular variety show. They even took part in a drama series. Geng Xian and Xiao Ran were about to take their college entrance exams. They didn't have much time. Xia Zhou, who was already a university student, was also asked by the company to hold a concert. The 3 Rao's exposure increased greatly. They performed well and gained many fans. The company also bought articles and trending searches to boost their popularity. As for the disobedient Zhuo Yichen, they just let him be. In contrast, Zhuo Yichen, the team leader, was even more silent. The fans of the 3 fans and other fans often mocked Zhuo Yichen. They said that he didn't study well and was a failure as an artist. The fans didn't understand the twists and turns. They couldn't see Zhuo Yichen's appearance. The most intuitive feeling was that he was not as popular as his teammates. It was as if the traffic on the trending searches was fake. He was immediately mocked by the anti-fans as a short-lived top celebrity. The rational fans in Xingchen commented that Zhuo Yichen was very good at his studies. He also had a conscientious TV series and a big production movie that were yet to be broadcast. He was changing to a capable artist. They hoped that everyone would wait for his work. However, there were also many fans who were easily influenced. They faintly complained that Zhuo Yichen didn't appear in public. It made them less confident in front of other fans. There was no lack of celebrities in the entertainment industry. Gradually, some fans left to follow other fans. The most obvious example was that Zhuo Yichen's popularity ranking dropped from 1st to 10th. He couldn't get any higher every week. The big fans called on the small fans to vote for him. They felt helpless. No matter how many times they called on him, he hovered around 10th place. It was very helpless. Zhuo Yichen was not affected at all. He went to class and left class without arrogance. He became the celebrity with the lowest absenteeism rate. It wasn't that he didn't work at all. He recorded 2 new songs and released them while he was studying. He wrote the lyrics himself. One was to thank his fans for their sincere company, and the other was to express his endless yearning for the future. This was the most realistic portrayal of his current situation. If he wanted to spread his wings and soar, he had to first build a solid foundation. Otherwise, everything would just be a bubble of nothingness. He wrote all the words he wanted to say to his fans in the lyrics. He was grateful for his fans' loyalty and sincere love for him. They believed in him, so he wouldn't let them down. When he was writing songs, he went on 2 well-known variety shows. It was a way for his fans to see him, listen to him sing, and watch him play games. Every time the host of the variety show asked him to greet his fans in front of the screen, he would very sincerely say, "Everyone, long time no see. I didn't show up not because I was lazy, but because I was charging up. I hope that everyone can charge up with me and achieve good results in both your studies and work." Compared to other celebrities, his exposure was still pitifully low. However, his new songs were very pleasant to listen to. The song about thanking his fans. Different people would think of thanking their parents, their loved ones, or their friends. The song about yearning for the future was especially inspirational. It inspired young people to work hard and march towards their dreams. Such lyrics were suitable for many people to sing on many occasions. Moreover, the melody was very pleasant and the difficulty wasn't very high. The 2 songs became popular as soon as they were released. This was definitely Zhuo Yichen's beautiful report card. Because he wasn't so busy, he had the opportunity to calm down and carefully carve out every sentence in the lyrics. He also had the time to carefully grind out every melody with the composer. He recorded in the recording studio over and over again and produced 2 songs that were better than all his previous songs. Fine work came out of slow work. He succeeded. His songs also made more people who didn't know him aware of him. It was very important for an artist to become popular. The popularity of the whole nation was the real popularity. The results of his 2 songs had already beaten all the songs of the same period. Stars immediately became proud and excited. Just like Zhuo Yichen sang in the song, they believed in him, and he wouldn't let them down. Chu Xiang drew a special story for Zhuo Yichen. In the story, she drew how Zhuo Yichen listened seriously in class, how he wrote the song seriously, and how he edited the details of the song seriously with the composer. She also drew how he looked forward to the future and how he sang for his fans. The solid fans weren't trying to trick the fans to stay. They were trying to convey to the fans how much their idol cherished them and how outstanding he was. They wanted to let the fans know that they wouldn't regret being fans of their idol. Everyone could work hard and grow together. This was the real meaning of moving forward hand in hand and accompanying each other. All the true fans were relieved. The big fans who were a little irritable because of the departure of their fans also calmed down. They didn't expect all the fans to stay. They just wanted to accompany the youth they loved the most along the way. He was reading quietly, so they waited for him quietly. Even if they couldn't give him better support, they wouldn't fight everywhere and make the fan circle a mess. He cherished them and they wouldn't embarrass him. After that, when the professional anti-fans came to stir up trouble, Stars simply stated the facts and let it go. He became very Buddhist and had the meaning of, "No matter what happens, I will not fall." However, Stars still hoped to see their idol. Since they couldn't see him in real life, They became more and more fond of Chu Xiang's Weibo. This was because Chu Xiang would update a microcomic story every weekend. She would tell a story about Zhuai-chen. In the story, Zhuai-chen was either cute, naughty, strong or handsome. She could draw out as many sides of him as he could have. This made many fans her regular readers. They would come to read her new stories every weekend. In fact, Chu Xiang was very busy. Zhuai-chen had finished filming, but she participated in the post-production editing. Professor Lin also intended to train her, so her workload became very heavy. Often, after she finished editing for a long time, she would hand over the clips to Professor Lin. Then, Professor Lin would be dissatisfied and return them to her for re-editing. Professor Lin felt that her potential hadn't been fully stimulated. She had to force herself to come up with the best ideas and cut the best films. Chu Xiang didn't know what effects she wanted. Anyway, when she was returned, she would redo it from a different angle. She polished every clip and every frame over and over again, striving for perfection. Of course, the original film was edited by Professor Lin himself. However, if Chu Xiang cut it well, there was a chance that she would be chosen. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a student. Chu Xiang didn't care much about fame and glory. However, she wanted to learn this to the best of her ability. She really put in a lot of effort. Anyway, Zhuai-chen didn't travel anymore. He stayed in school like her. Sometimes they would even meet in the library and cafeteria. She didn't have to run around like a sister anymore. Both of them were on the right track in their studies. They were both working hard and improving rapidly. When the semester was about to end, Chu Xiang's comic series was completed. It was successfully published and the animation rights were sold. Her profits were high when she serialized it. In the beginning it was 5,000 yuan. Later on, it was 7,000 to 8,000 yuan. Now that she had sold the copyright, the profits were many times higher. She moved to a high-end area near the school and bought more professional work equipment and comfortable furniture. Her quality of life improved a lot. Zhuai-chen gave her a lot of clothes. There were all kinds of international sponsors and brands. There were new clothes every season. She couldn't wear them all. Her appearance also improved a lot. Naturally, she was more eye-catching in school. Yuan Lang was about to graduate. He had been looking for a job, but he hadn't found one to his liking. He saw that Chu Xiang had already entered the entertainment industry. She was very popular and had earned a lot of money. He shamelessly came to look for Chu Xiang again. Zhuai-chen happened to be going to the library to borrow books. When he turned a corner, he saw a boy blocking Chu Xiang in a corner. He frowned and was about to go over when he heard the boy's soft voice. "Why are you so heartless? You don't even look at me nicely. We've been together for so long. How can you just forget about me?" Zhuai-chen stopped abruptly and hid behind the wall. He was a little confused. This guy was Chu Xiang's boyfriend. Chu Xiang had seen many shameless people like Yuan Lang. She immediately said coldly, "Get out of here. Otherwise I'll cripple you. Chu Xiang, I really love you. I can't forget you even after so long. Please give me another chance. I promise I'll treat you well." Yuan Lang said humbly and reached out to pull Chu Xiang. Chu Xiang dodged to the side and raised her leg to ruthlessly kick Yuan Lang's vital parts. Yuan Lang immediately let out a blood-curdling scream, but Chu Xiang stuffed a wad of paper into his mouth to block his voice. Zhuai-chen was shocked. He leaned against the wall and looked at the situation in shock. Chu Xiang bent down and said coldly, "This is a warning. If you dare to appear in front of me again, I'll make sure you'll never be able to see me again." Chu Xiang walked around him and turned the corner. Before Zhuai-chen could react, Chu Xiang had already seen him. He instinctively stood at attention. As a man, his scalp went numb when he saw the scene just now. Chu Xiang saw his reaction and laughed. "What are you doing?" Zhuai-chen touched the back of his head. His ears were burning. He smiled and said, "Nothing, I'm fine." Are you going to borrow books?" "Yes, the teacher gave me homework." Chu Xiong moved her neck and sighed. The teacher is treating me like a robot. She actually made me finish the books in 2 days. She still has exams. I don't even have time to draw comics. Let's see if you're happy and working hard or take care of your body. Zhuorichen heard Yuan Lang's muffled voice. He touched his eyebrows and said, I'm going to borrow books too. Let's go together. Chu Xiong nodded and walked to the library with him. On the way, Zhuorichen hesitated a few times before he asked tentatively, That person just now, was he your ex-boyfriend? Chu Xiong replied, Yes, we broke up a year and a half ago. Zhuorichen asked curiously, Why did you break up? It was when I took pictures of my childhood. I happened to find out that he was a jerk, so we broke up. He suddenly came looking for me after such a long time. I guess he didn't find a job well and wants to take advantage of me. He probably thinks I'm a fool. Chu Xiong laughed. When you find a girlfriend in the future, you have to pay attention to her character. Don't get cheated. I'm still young. Zhuorichen touched his eyebrows embarrassedly. He thought about how she must have felt when she found out that her idol had a despicable character and that her boyfriend was a jerk at the same time. He felt a little uncomfortable, like he was heartbroken. He couldn't help but say, You should leave all the bad things behind. There will be better things in the future. As long as you're happy, that's enough. Chu Xiong smiled and nodded. She joked, Of course. When I was at my lowest point I happened to see you. You brought me so much sunshine. You dispelled all the haze in my heart. Otherwise, why would I like you so much? Zhuorichen's ears instantly turned red. There was a rare hint of shyness in his smile. He turned his face away and joked, Then please continue to like me, okay? I'm the Prince of Sunshine. I won't leave any haze for you. I'll get rid of as much haze as I can. Chu Xiong covered her ears and complained, Yichen, your laughter is against the rules. There are people online who say that I'm Mary Sue. I think you're more like Jack Sue. You're about to turn 19 and you're changing more and more. When you come out of seclusion, your fans will definitely be teased to death. Zhuorichen smiled and turned to look at her. Really? I've changed a lot. Chu Xiong looked at him carefully. Really? Don't you realize that you're much more handsome than last year when you look in the mirror? Your voice is getting softer and softer. I really don't know how you grew up. Did you bribe the creator when you were reincarnated? He gave birth to you so perfectly. Zhuorichen loved to hear her praise him. He couldn't help but laugh. Isn't your fan filter too thick? But I know you're honest, right? What a coincidence. Think so too. I'm really perfect. The two of them looked at each other and laughed at the same time. Under the afternoon sun, their mood soared. The busy days flew by quickly. Chu Xiong got first place in her specialization during the final exam. Surprisingly, Zhuorichen also got first place in his specialization. He had flown low last time, so many people had been paying attention to this exam. When the results came out, it immediately became a hot search. Most importantly, they had just taken the college entrance examination a month ago. Xiao Ran scored 468 points while Geng Xian scored 477 points. Both of them were busy with work and had only studied for around 50 points. It was already very good for them to get such results and break through to a second-tier university. However, with Zhuorichen's 628 points in front of them, their scores were clearly not up to standard. There was also Xia Zhou. He had flown low last semester and this semester, and it was revealed that he had missed a lot of classes. With his workload, it was already very good that he didn't fail any subjects. However, with Zhuorichen's first place in his specialization as a comparison, he immediately felt that he wasn't doing his job properly. Zhuorichen's stars were Buddhas. However, the fans of the other three families were especially passionate because their idols had been in business all this time. They also had more brainless fans. When they saw the marketing account's Weibo post comparing the four of them, they started to tear into each other. The four of them were artists. The most important thing was their achievements in the entertainment industry. Even if Zhuorichen got first place in his exams every year, he would still fail. How could he compare to their idols? The marketing account had always liked to ride on this kind of popularity. It compared the four of them with their academic results and popularity in the entertainment industry, and analyzed which of the four of them would have the best future. In fact, none of the analysis was correct. It was all blind speculation. However, many fans believed it and made a mess. Sometimes the more they argued, the more they felt that they were on the same side. The more they argued, the more they felt that they were on the same side. The more they argued, the more they were moved by their own determination. Therefore, the company told Zhuo Chen and the other three to keep quiet. In any case, their actual results were not bad. Their own fans argued with outsiders for a while. In the future, the four of them would become more and more outstanding. Naturally, no one would pay attention to their results. During the school holidays, Chu Xiang bumped into Zhuo Chen. She felt that he seemed to be hiding unhappiness under his normal expression. She didn't look for him. They rarely walked together in school. There were always people who secretly took pictures of them. She only called him when she got home and asked if he was upset about the things on the internet. Hui Chen chuckled. How did you know? Chu Xiang thought for a moment. I just felt that you were unhappy. Hui Chen smiled. Then you're amazing. You can see clearly from so far away. You're indeed my #1 fan. He took a deep breath and lowered his eyes. I'm not really unhappy. I just saw that Xingchen was a little weak. It was as if he was being bullied. Although I don't like it when they quarrel, sometimes I feel that I've wronged them when I'm pursuing my dream. How can that be? The fans' confidence is never based on the appearance of their idols. It's based on how outstanding their idols are. Look at your idol, Xiao Qian. He disappears after filming 1 movie a year. His fans don't go to the charts to get statistics. They just wait patiently to watch 1 movie a year. However, they are full of confidence because Xiao Qian is strong enough. They don't even bother to fight back. They look at haters as if they're ugly. That's what confidence is, isn't it? Aren't you accumulating your strength to give Xingchen the greatest confidence? Zhuo Chen was silent for a moment. Then he laughed. How do you always know what I'm thinking? Alright, don't worry. Understand. It's just that the process of becoming strong is very long. I feel a little sorry for them. However, I can't do anything. If I do, things will escalate and become even more chaotic. Chu Xiang thought for a moment and laughed. You can't do anything, but I can. Also, you have to believe in your fans. They're the best. You want to protect them, and they want to give you the strongest armor and the greatest glory. What are you doing? Don't be on the hot search list again. #1 fan, you should keep a low profile. Learn from your idol and be a missing person. Zhuo Chen walked to the kitchen and poured himself a glass of water. His mood was relaxed, but he still didn't want Chu Xiang to be involved in this matter. He was afraid that she would be scolded by the haters again. Chu Xiang laughed. You're becoming more and more narcissistic. I'll bring Xingchen along to show off the results. I'll tell the truth and beat all the brainless fans. Alright, wait for my good news. I'm going to get to work. Chu Xiang. By the time Zhuo Chen called her, she had already hung up the phone. He shook his head and laughed. Then, he opened Weibo to see what she had posted. Chu Xiang entered a few of Xingchen's fan groups. She went straight to the point and asked about their results. How many of them had achieved good results and wanted to use their results to fight back? Many of Zhuo Chen's fans were students. When they saw that it was Chu Xiang who was asking about their results, many of them immediately popped up to show off their results. Some of them even showed off their results directly. Chu Xiang roughly estimated the number of fans. It wasn't a small number. She felt an inexplicable sense of pride. She felt that her idol was so outstanding that he could inspire his fans to be so outstanding. She greeted everyone and took the initiative to draw 2 comics and posted them on Weibo. One of them was a picture of Zhuo Chen smiling and hoping that everyone would work together to achieve good results. On the wall in the background was Zhuo Chen's 628 points in the college entrance exam and the first place in his major. The other picture was of a girl in a red dress. There were various editing tools in the background to represent herself. She was holding a report in her hand. First place in her major. Young V. Working together with Shuai-chen, I've become a better version of myself. You just need to focus on your studies. Xingchen will wait for your return. And Shuai-chen, Xingchen's fans were all waiting. When they saw that she had posted the comic, they immediately shared it like crazy. At the same time, they also commented on her Weibo and praised her for being awesome. Many of them attached their results. Some of them were guaranteed places in the college entrance exam. Some scored more than 600 points in the college entrance exam. Some got into a key high school in the middle school exam. Some got first place in the art exam. And some won a trophy in a singing competition. Many results quickly appeared in Chu Xiang's comment section. Her words were also shared by countless people. You just need to focus on your studies. Xingchen will wait for your return. This sentence was more like Xingchen's protection and confession to Shuai-chen. The passion of Xingchen's fans was instantly ignited. Even those who didn't want to share their results showed that they had worked hard and followed their idols to the university. Those who shared their results were only a small group of people compared to the total number of Xingchen's fans, but it was already very impressive. The hashtag Xingchen's results hashtag quickly became a hot search. Even though some of Xingchen's fans had left and their fighting spirit had weakened, everyone had changed. But this time, none of the anti-fans could outdo Xingchen. This was because sharing good results in such a uniform manner was definitely positive energy. It gave the fans and their idols a lot of face. The fans of the other families wanted to show off, but none of them had Chu Xiang's influence to drive the fans to take action collectively. They also didn't have enough fans to get people to actively participate. The few who showed off sporadically were beaten up instead, and their momentum was greatly reduced. Many people sighed. Chu Xiang was indeed Xingchen's #1 god of war. The moment she took action, she led Xingchen to a beautiful victory. She even promoted Shuai-chen with even more positive energy. What else could attract more fans than an idol who motivated his fans to work hard? Chu Xiang was correct again and again, causing Shuai-chen's popularity to explode. Even in the midst of the conflict, there were still many passers-by who spoke up for Shuai-chen. A fan left a comment on Chu Xiang's Weibo. God of War, if you have nothing to do, come out more often. I really like to see you fight back against the anti-fans. Chu Xiang happened to see it and immediately replied, that won't do. After all, I'm someone who wants to learn from my idol by going into seclusion to recharge my batteries. Since everyone is bored during the summer break, let's look forward to Yi-chen's new drama. Dark Knight will be broadcasted on all major streaming platforms on July 25th. There will be 2 episodes per night. Let's see Yi-chen's exciting performance in the drama. She tagged a few streaming platforms that she was collaborating with and also tagged Dark Knight's Weibo. Dark Knight's Weibo was also very smart. They directly reposted Chu Xiang's Weibo post and said that Shuai-chen's first time working with Prince Charming, Xiao Qian. His acting skills were off the charts, so please look forward to it. Chu Xiang's popularity on the trending searches was enough to give Dark Knight a free promotion. Dark Knight's Weibo post also increased Shuai-chen's popularity and recognition. After all, the phrase off the charts was easily mocked. If Shuai-chen's acting skills were slightly worse, the official Weibo would not have said so. Stars were all cheering for Chu Xiang. They really did not know how to express their feelings other than 666. Every time there was a troublesome situation, Chu Xiang always had a way to resolve it and use it to promote it. This time Shuai-chen's Dark Knight entered everyone's field of vision. If everyone was previously paying attention to Dark Knight because of Xiao Qian, now they were looking forward to it because of Shuai-chen. Everyone also firmly remembered the broadcast date of the drama. Many passers-by felt that since July 25th was the summer break, they had to watch it to see if it was good or not. They also wanted to see if Shuai-chen's acting skills were as good as his. While everyone was enthusiastically discussing this topic, A CP was silently established. This was Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong's territory. It was the charging duo. This group of CP fans had been lovey-dovey for the two of them for a long time. They had always been hiding it, afraid that the anti-fans would tear them apart. This time, when they saw Chu Xiong's big move, they finally decided to establish a dedicated CP. They even specially chose a name that was very down-to-earth and suited them. They hoped that it would not attract attention so quickly. Perhaps it was because Chu Xiong was a fan club and not a celebrity, so the CP fans did not go around saying that the two of them were very compatible. They just kept to themselves and posted all kinds of open and hidden love between them in the CP. The cover of the CP was the two results comics that Chu Xiong had drawn. It said that she wanted to improve her results. While this incident defeated the anti-fans, it also made stars more united. Their chatter in the group also encouraged everyone to work hard and improve together with Zhuo Yichen. After Zhuo Yichen's long period of seclusion, most of the fans that remained were rational fans. Now that they had experienced such an incident, they felt that their status had increased by a level after they defeated their opponents by showing off their results without quarreling or fighting. It was really the kind of feeling that no matter what other people said, they would only use their results. This made them acknowledge Zhuo Yichen's decision to change from a popular artist to a capable one. They looked forward to the works that Zhuo Yichen produced every time he went into seclusion. Some of the more knowledgeable netizens analyzed that Chu Xiong was really good at it. After this incident, the loyalty of Zhuo Yichen's fans shot up like a rocket. Just by looking at how many people responded to Chu Xiong's call this time, it could be seen that Star's fans were definitely more reliable than other fans if they encountered any problems. If Zhuo Yichen's TV dramas and movies achieved good results, who would be able to mock him for his failure? When that time came, his results in the entertainment industry and his academic results would be outstanding. He would gain both fame and fortune. Therefore, whether it was Star's fans or anti-fans, they all had to wait for the broadcast of Night Will Be Bright. When the time came, they would be able to test whether Zhuo Yichen was good or not. They would be able to test whether this method of giving up on top traffic and going into seclusion was correct. Night Will Be Bright became the most watched TV series of the summer. Zhuo Yichen also successfully became the most watched male actor of the summer. Chapter 117. Summer vacation was a rare time for students to relax, but for Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen, it was a busy time for work. Chu Xiong gradually grasped the essence of editing the movie after revising the script time and time again. Finally, Professor Lin nodded in satisfaction. Professor Lin saw that she had a lot of bold attempts and that the movie she edited was very creative, so he gave her more editing tasks. Chu Xiong did not have time to start a second comic at the moment. Even if the readers urged her, she could only regret it and spend all her energy on editing. Because she had posted this on Chu Huang's Weibo, the people who followed Zhuo Xiong also knew about her recent situation. When they saw that she was still updating Zhuo Yichen's comic every weekend, they all teased her. Idols are indeed more important than comics. Xing Chen's fans treated her as one of their own. The number of her fans kept increasing, and she had become the most influential fan. While Xing Chen's fans were waiting for Zhuo Yichen to come out of seclusion, her comic on Weibo became the gathering place for Xing Chen's fans to confess to Zhuo Yichen. Zhuo Yichen cooperated with the crew of Dark Knight General Bright to promote the show, and the fans finally saw him. On July 25th, the fans cheered. Zhuo Yichen, as an important supporting actor, appeared in the first episode. They could finally see their idol on TV again. Zhuo Yichen's acting in the show was very good. If his previous acting was not bad, then his acting in this show had obviously improved. It could be said that he acted very well. Xing Chen's fans immediately spread the news on the internet, promoting the good Dark Knight General Bright everywhere, and cheering for their idols. It was originally a summer vacation, so the excellent mystery undercover criminal investigation series attracted a lot of attention. Xiao Qian's and Zhuo Yichen's fans were not the only ones watching. More and more people were watching the show. This kind of word-of-mouth publicity was the best publicity. The viewership ratings of Dark Knight Will Be Bright quickly rushed to first place in the same period, and first place in all the dramas in the first half of the year, and continued to rise. When the drama was aired, Zhuo Yichen filmed a variety show. He went to a beautiful place and ran a homestay with a few other celebrities. A total of 20 scenes were shot there and 12 episodes were edited out. One episode would be aired every weekend and could last for 3 months. It was just right to take over his TV series. After that, he still had to hold a concert in winter and perform on the Spring Festival Gala and the New Year's Eve Gala. This way, he would be able to frequently appear on TV from the beginning of the summer holidays until February of the next year. His appearances would maintain his popularity and not affect his studies. Perfect. Zhuo Yichen had originally thought that this would be a relaxing variety show, but who knew that it would be even more tiring than an outdoor reality show? The outdoor reality show was, after all, a game. Everyone ran and jumped together, and even if they were tired they still had fun. However, they were still amateurs when it came to running a guest house. They had to start from scratch and there were jobs everywhere. Cooking, washing the dishes, mopping the floor, making the bed sheets, buying groceries and stocking up. Just one of these tasks was tiring enough. Moreover, these were all repetitive and boring jobs. They were not interesting at all. Zhuo Yichen felt like he was a part-time waiter who was experiencing the work of a waiter. That was not all. When guests came, in order to make the show look good, the guests would always make all kinds of difficult requests for the homestay. Some asked them to be tour guides, some asked them to make cakes, some asked them to make seafood, and some asked them to make honeymoon rooms. These were all trivial and troublesome tasks. As the only young man in the homestay, Zhuo Yichen took the initiative to do most of the work. Washing the dishes, buying groceries, mopping the floor, and cleaning the room were all done by him. If they encountered difficult guests, some of the MCs might not be very good at solving problems. He would also take the initiative to help, solve the problems with a smile and appease the guests. There were female fans who went to the filming location of the variety show and used a telephoto lens to take photos of Zhuo Yichen from afar. Some of the photos were posted on the internet. The rational fans felt sorry for Zhuo Yichen for working hard during the filming. Some radical fans came out and said that the production team was too much of a bully. They made Zhuo Yichen do all the dirty and tiring work. The anti-fans seized the opportunity and immediately pretended to be fans to make a fuss, leading a group of fans to make a lot of noise. Zhuo Yichen's popularity had declined in the past year. Even the production team did not pay attention to him and ordered him around like a part-time worker. They did not even watch the show when it was broadcast. The radical fans made a lot of noise, but they did not think that they did not know the truth at all. This would only make Zhuo Yichen more haters. Several big fans of Xingqian sent private messages to Chu Xiang and even Chu Xiang in the fan group. When something happened, the first thing they thought of was her. When Chu Xiang saw this, she immediately called Zhuo Yichen and asked if he was tired over there. Zhuo Yichen laughed and said, "Did you see the rumors on the internet? They're all rumors. Everyone is tired. Since I have the energy to do more, I'll do more. I know they're rumors, but I can see that you're really tired when I see the photos." Chu Xiang laughed and said, "Are you regretting it? Did you think that you were going to rest like a vacation?" Zhuo Yichen had already turned off his microphone. He lay on the bench in the backyard and sighed. "I really regret it. I brought a few books over and thought that I could finish reading them during the filming. In the end, I didn't even read a single page. After work I just want to sleep. Isn't this a slow variety show? Why am I so tired?" When Chu Xiang heard this, she felt that this was not a show that Zhuo Yichen had personally come into contact with. She asked, "Did your company accept this for you?" Zhuo Yichen was silent for a moment before he said, "Yes, it's okay. Isn't this show very popular? It's quite good." Chu Xiang quickly went online to check the show. She frowned and said, "Popular? What? This is already the 4th season. It's not popular anymore." She thought about it and knew that Zhuo Yichen had rebelled against the company too many times. Since it was a holiday, He went along with the company's wishes. After all, the contract was still in the company's hands. However, the company only wanted to make money and did not consider anything else. Chu Xiang could not help him. She could only comfort him. You'll be back in a few days. Have a good rest then. Actually, it's good to do more work. When the show airs, everyone will be able to see your strengths. Zhuo Yichen laughed when he heard her words. How do you know that it's definitely my strengths and not my weaknesses? If the monster-revealing mirror shows me, my fans will stop being my fans. How is that possible? Believe in your charisma. Think about how winter vacation travels became popular. I have a hunch that your variety show will also become popular. You have to film well and remember to perform well. With your encouragement, I'm not tired anymore. Zhuo Yichen still had to work. He stood up and said, Okay, I'm going to wash the dishes. Don't be too busy. Pay attention to rest. Okay, I know. Chu Xiang hung up and thought about it. In the fan group, she said, Yichen has always been a man of his own. He knows what he's doing. We just have to wait quietly for his work. We won't create rumors or spread rumors. Before there is conclusive evidence, we won't give him any popularity. Just watch Dark Knight Will Be Bright. Many fans in the group expressed their attitude. Of course, there were also some fans who came out and said that Zhuo Yichen had been wronged. They wanted to stand up for him. Chu Xiang simply found the first 3 seasons of the Homestay variety show. She took a look at them and drew a comic strip. She drew the exhaustion of all the MCs from the first season to the 3rd season of the Homestay variety show. The last drawing was of all the MCs from the 4th season. Everyone was working hard in their respective roles. After watching the variety show, I realized that it's really hard to open a good homestay. However, it's a rare experience to successfully run a shop. The warmth and touching feeling of unity and cooperation is also the rarest friendship. Even if I'm tired, I'm still happy. Congratulations to Yichen for unlocking a new field and making new friends. I'm looking forward to our homestay. Fans on the front line have worked hard. Please don't leak the filming situation. Chu Xiang's comic strip clearly expressed that everyone in the variety show was very tired. Zhuo Yichen was not the only one who was working hard. Previously, the noise of the fans easily made people think that Zhuo Yichen was pretentious. Everyone was working hard, and he was the only one who was so troublesome. The fans also hated him. However, Chu Xiang, as the most famous fan among all the fans, stood up and expressed her attitude. Several big fans in Xingchen took the lead to repost her Weibo to express their support. This basically represented the attitude of the entire Xingchen. No matter how noisy the others were, no matter how professional the haters jumped around, it would still make people think that they were just a bunch of ignorant fans. Zhuo Yichen's fan group respected the program team very much. They admired the other MCs very much and were also looking forward to the broadcast of this variety show. If the fans' quarrels were easy to make people dislike the fans' idols, then such a gentle and generous attitude would easily win people's favor. It would then make people think that Zhuo Yichen and his fans were of good quality. The impression a celebrity's fans gave was also very important. If the fan group always did strange things, passers-by would hate the celebrity before they even knew him. Therefore, Chu Xiang stood up at this time to lead the big fans to express their attitude. She firmly protected Xingchen's image and also washed away a group of radical fans who did not understand. The television series Dark Knight Will Be Bright was popular. No matter what the haters mocked Zhuo Yichen, he would still often be on the hot search. There were also people who guessed that Zhuo Yichen's acting skills improved a lot because he worked with Xiao Qian. He was such a hard-working person. How could he tolerate not acting well in front of his idol? Therefore, in this show it was obvious that his acting skills had improved a lot. He had definitely put in a lot of hard work. Being in seclusion was still useful. Everyone thought that he had personally demonstrated the correct way to chase after an idol. He had also received Xiao Qian's recognition and guidance. He was simply too successful in chasing after an idol. Because Zhuo Yichen's character in the show was very popular, many people liked him. They knew that there was such a 19-year-old actor who acted very well. In the show, he and the supporting female lead appreciated each other and schemed against the female lead. He had successfully created two very prominent ship pairs. This was his first film and television work since he became an adult. He had already shed his youthfulness inside and outside the drama, and had transformed into a man. Everyone no longer treated him as a child. Unexpectedly, two groups of CP fans had popped up all of a sudden. Although the haters had always rejected ship pairs, these two groups of ship fans gradually grew stronger as the series was broadcasted. They posted many sweet ship videos on Bilibili. At first, the Xingqian fans were a little confused. Their idol had grown up. There were already two ship pairs. Then they quickly calmed down and ignored the haters. This was the influence that Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen had brought to them in the past year. They kept a low profile and used practical words. They ignored all non-official announcements. In the end, only a few haters went to argue with the ship fans. These were all normal in the fandom circle and could not be stopped. Of course, Chu Xiang did not care. However, after watching the show, she also thought that Brother Chen had really grown up. He already looked like a ship when he stood next to a girl. It was the same in director Chen's movie. When the movie was released, there would probably be another group of ship fans. Zhuo Yichen had already become a popular man. From then on, Chu Xiang unknowingly changed her style when drawing Zhuo Yichen comics. He was no longer a cute boy. He had grown into a male god with hormonal charm. Chu Xiang was busy editing from morning to night. When the summer vacation ended, she finally finished all the editing tasks. To her surprise, half of Professor Lin's final film had been edited by her. When she knew that Professor Lin had included her name, she specially went to look for him. "Teacher, isn't this a little inappropriate? I'm just a newbie." Professor Lin smiled and said, If the editing wasn't good enough, how could I use it? Old Chen and I chose this together. Many of the scenes you edited were very spiritual. This is the most difficult thing to come by as an editor. Old Chen and I are old, so it's inevitable that we will occasionally have a little old-fashioned vision. You have injected fresh energy into this movie and played a very important role. You deserve this position. You have to have confidence in yourself. Chu Xiang was definitely very confident. When she heard that, she did not decline and thanked Professor Lin properly. When Professor Lin referred to her name, it was not as simple as just putting her name in the editing team. Instead, it was just putting her name behind Professor Lin's. The two of them would be the chief editors together. This was Chu Xiang's first official work. It was a movie by a famous director in the country, Director Chen. She was promoted to the position of chief editor by her teacher. It was definitely an honor that others could only dream of. Chu Xiang was very grateful to Professor Lin and felt much closer to her. She often visited her with gifts and chatted with her. During this summer vacation, Chu Xiang had a very fulfilling time. Her results were also very outstanding. When the new semester started, she was promoted to the 4th year of university. She temporarily gave herself a break. Other than attending classes, she played games and read books. Zhuo Yichen was also very busy during this summer vacation. First, he filmed 20 extremely tiring variety shows. After that, he went on 2 shows to promote the variety shows. Then, he filmed advertisements and magazines and participated in endorsement activities. He was busy like this until school started. He actually felt a sense of relief. It was as if the start of school was his holiday. He knew that Chu Xiang played games and often played with Chu Xiang. He also invited Xia Zhou, Xiao Ran and Geng Xian. Xiao Ran and Geng Xian did not like acting and went to the music academy. Sometimes when they did not have any jobs, Zhuo Yichen asked them to team up and play together. The few of them often teased Zhuo Yichen. He was the only one among the 4 of them who had a large number of CP fans. He was clearly the youngest, but when the three of them were still teenagers, he already had two famous CP fans. Zhuori-chen did not care about their teasing. He only felt that it was a problem with the script. The script was written like that. Of course, the CP feeling was also because of the development of the plot. In the end, the homestay variety show that he filmed was broadcast before the popularity of Dark Knight Will Be Bright died down. There was a female singer about his age in the variety show. Because he was strong, he helped her a few times when he saw her. Unexpectedly, their CP fans appeared. This variety show had just started broadcasting and did not have many viewers. Because the previous season was not interesting, not many people were looking forward to the fourth season. Unexpectedly, after 2 episodes, more and more people watched it. The ratings rose steadily, and the audience commented that this season was very interesting and had many jokes. The pairing of the variety show's MC was one factor, and Zhuori-chen's charm was another. If the TV series was purely about the character's personality, then the variety show could largely reveal a person's true character. In the variety show, Zhuori-chen was humble, polite, attentive, considerate, responsible, and opinionated. He would kindly help others, take the initiative to help others out of trouble, and liven up the atmosphere to make everyone laugh. He was also very smart. When someone taught him how to make the bed and clean the room, he could remember all the details. After watching it twice, he learned it all and taught it to the other MCs. When he encountered something that was not easy to solve, he could always think of a solution quickly. He was very witty. These were all things that he had not had the chance to show before. In the past, the variety shows he filmed were mostly fooling around. At most, he made people feel that he was a sensible big child. But this time he was very calm. Even the MCs who were older than him could be compared to him, which directly reflected his personality and charm. In the first variety show he participated in as an adult, he ushered in a burst of charm. He got along well with several MCs and produced various chemical effects. It provided a lot of highlights for the show and made the show very interesting. Just like what Chu Seong had said, this variety show blew up. Zhuori-chen's popular TV series had just ended, and another popular variety show appeared. Every week it would be on the hot searches. His fans no longer had to worry about not being able to see him. They used this material to edit many videos. He also attracted a large number of new fans, and his popularity ranking gradually rose to 5th. However, now, Stars was no longer obsessed with the popularity ranking. They valued Zhuori-chen's actual achievements more. Zhuori-chen's excellent performance made them very proud. Even if another couple appeared, they could face it calmly. Anyway, their idol was charming. He would form a couple with anyone he worked with. As long as it was not maliciously tied to hype, they did not care. Zhuori-chen did not pay attention to the outside world and focused on his studies. Because he had more experience in filming and had also learned from director Chen for a while, his opinions and professional knowledge were much better than his classmates. He was very liked by the teachers. The school planned to film a short drama for the school's anniversary. Each episode was 30 minutes, and there were a total of 5 episodes. They hoped that the elites of all the departments in the school would be responsible for completing it. In the end, it would be handed over to the teachers for review. Zhuori-chen's teacher recommended him to participate in the post-production team. A short drama for the school's anniversary was rarely filmed. In the future, it would be used as the school's official promotional drama. The students who could participate were honored, and the competition was very fierce. The chief director was a senior from the directing department who had participated in online dramas before. As a second-year student, Zhuori-chen overcame all difficulties and won the position of assistant director. He was very proud of his teacher. Chu Seong was also called to participate by Professor Lin. Professor Lin had already completed her editing. This kind of activity was to add glory to the school and let her contribute to the school. She did not need to compete at all and directly won the title of chief editor. There were also actors, art designers, lighting technicians, special effects technicians, stage managers, and so on. The entire team went through a strict selection process before the final list was finalized. Then they started preparing in full swing. Other than the two of them, there was another acquaintance in the production team. It was Xia Zhou, who played the second male lead in the drama. Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen had not been together like this for half a year after filming director Chen's movie. Filming this short drama was equivalent to them working together in the same production team again. Xia Zhou also rarely got together with them because of his schedule. This was a rare gathering. The three of them sat together every time they had a meeting. Sometimes, when they needed to discuss something, they would also discuss it together. Everyone in the production team knew that Chu Xiang was Zhuo Yichen's famous sister, so they were not surprised that they had a good relationship. Everyone was an elite in the school and would be in the entertainment industry in the future. No one gossiped. Chu Xiang was surprised to find that although she and Zhuo Yichen often talked on the phone and played games in the past 6 months, Zhuo Yichen had grown a lot in areas that she had not seen. Especially when it came to work, Zhuo Yichen would be especially serious. He expressed his views clearly and did not argue with others. However, he always had a way to implement what he wanted to do with his words. He could also keenly detect other problems in the team and raise them in a way that did not make people uncomfortable at the appropriate time. This made the team work more harmoniously. Unknowingly, he was almost the second in command of the production team. He had gained everyone's love and trust and could carry out his work with more ease. Chu Xiang came to this project with a relatively casual attitude. She only wanted to do the editing work well and did not plan to care about anything else. Anyway, the chief director, Huang Hao, was the former president of the school's student union. He had retired because he was busy with work in his 4th year. Naturally, he would be the leader of the production team. She did not expect to see another side of Zhuo Yichen. People who were serious about their work were always charming. It turned out that this big boy had really grown up. At 19 years old, he was much more mature than his peers. He was like a manager, and the people he managed were mostly seniors. He had really become a reliable man, and could no longer be treated as a younger brother. During the filming, Chu Xiang and Zhuo Yichen sat beside Huang Hao. They watched the results of the filming with him and occasionally gave some advice. Zhuo Yichen did not have to deliberately avoid suspicion. He had a legitimate reason to get along with Chu Xiang. He was quite happy. After all, it was rare to have close friends in the entertainment industry. However, it did not take long for him to feel uncomfortable. That Huang Hao always liked to talk to Chu Xiang. He also liked to get close to her and smile like something. There was also a boy who was in the same class as Chu Xiang. He was in the post-production editing team. He always used the excuse of asking for advice to look for Chu Xiang. However, he would go elsewhere after a few words. The two of them were obviously pursuing Chu Xiang. The more he looked at them, the more annoyed he became. During a break, Xia Zhou bumped Zhuo Yichen with his shoulder and laughed. "How is it? Is it too sour?" Zhuo Yichen rolled his eyes at him. "What's there to be jealous about? Come on, your facial expression management has long lost its effectiveness. When you see Chu Xiang smiling with them, even your smile is fake." Xia Zhou played with the props for his performance and looked at Zhuo Yichen teasingly. Zhuo Yichen pretended to inadvertently glance at Chu Xiang. When he saw that she was chatting with Huang Hao, the corners of his mouth unconsciously turned down. Xia Zhou saw this and could not help but laugh. Chu Xiang heard the noise and looked over with a smile. "Why are you laughing like this?" Zhuo Yichen immediately looked at Xia Zhou threateningly. Xia Zhou waved his hand. "Nothing. It's just that when I first met Yichen, he has always been domineering. I didn't expect so many people to be gentle with him now. He's still so domineering deep down." Chu Xiang laughed. Being gentle and being domineering is not contradictory. Yichen has grown up now and is indeed very gentle to others. It's good to be domineering deep down, so that he won't be bullied. Xia Zhou couldn't take it anymore and made a zipping motion over his mouth. "Fine, I've said too much. You two can continue to flatter each other. I'll turn off the mic. Chu Xiang was about to speak when Huang Hao called her away to talk about the editing effect. Xiaozhou could clearly see that Zhuo Yichen was in low spirits. He was speechless. What's wrong with you? If you like her, then go after her. Why are you doing this? Zhuo Yichen frowned slightly. What are you talking about? What do you mean like or dislike? I just like to hang out with her. Don't say that you don't like her. I won't believe it even if you beat me to death. Between you and me, the onlooker sees more clearly. Can see everything clearly. You're just jealous. After Xiaozhou finished speaking, his expression became serious and he advised, I know you always have your own ideas, but you have to think carefully about this kind of thing. It's a big deal for an idol to fall in love. Although you've been turning to the strong side, you're still young. No one can imagine what the consequences will be. Don't be blind. Hurry up and memorize your lines. Zhuo Yichen dismissed Xiaozhou, but his heart was in a mess. It was his first awakening of love. He didn't know what it felt like to fall in love with someone for the first time. However, it seemed that he really didn't like the image of Chu Xiang with another man. He just wanted Chu Xiang to see him alone. He didn't hesitate. He got up and ran towards Huang Hao and Chu Xiang. What's wrong? Is there a problem with the film? Huang Hao smiled and said, There's nothing else. Chu Xiang's idea is better. We just finished talking. He didn't want him to participate. Zhuo Yichen immediately smiled and said, That's good. I have something to talk to Chu Xiang about. I won't disturb Brother Hao. Chu Xiang, let's go to the restaurant and eat. Chu Xiang took her bag and walked with him. After walking for a while, she asked, What's up? Zhuo Yichen thought quickly. I'll be holding a concert in 2 months. I wanted to ask if you have any good ideas. What kind of songs do fans like to hear me sing? By the way, I plan to hire a professional photography team this time. Can you edit it for me? Of course. Chu Xiang thought for a moment and gave him a list of song titles. I think these are all very nice. If you want your fans to like them, I think you've been seeing all kinds of couples recently. You must have a lot of wifey fans. Their favorite thing to watch is definitely flirting and dancing. Zhuo Yichen immediately waved his hand and refused. That won't do. Flirting is only for my real wife. Chu Xiang was stunned. She said in surprise, You're already thinking about your wife. Don't tell me you really like someone. Zhuo Yichen smiled. No, didn't you mention it? I want to be a singer, actor and director with real skills. I refuse to sell men, okay? Chu Xiang thought about how he tugged at his collar, lifted his clothes and flirted with people on stage. She quickly said, That's right. I won't be like those guys. I'm determined not to sell men. Chen, you have a lot of ideas. I've seen many idols do the same. Some even take off their shirts on stage. Zhuo Yichen shrugged. I've always had a lot of ideas, okay? You're the one who's always treated me like a child. When I first met you, you were the captain. You were in charge of 3 people who were older than me. Chu Xiang smiled at the thought of that time. Do you want to recall how we were when we first met? Are you sure you weren't a child back then? Okay, let's skip this topic. Zhuo Yichen laughed. You'll be going to my concert, right? Of course. When the time comes, you can sit with my parents. We can still chat. Really, how can you talk to my mom? Isn't there a generation gap between the two of you? What's a generation gap? You can talk to any kind of person, right? Didn't you have a good time chatting with Director Chen? You can always find common topics. Besides, Auntie is so cheerful and young. She has more energy than me when we go shopping. By the way, she told me a lot about you. Why were you so naughty back then? It's so interesting. She was here, and Zhuo Yichen was looking at her. Those low and bitter feelings were all gone. It turned out that her every frown and smile could already affect his emotions. He felt happy just looking at her from the side. If he didn't want her to be with someone else, then he had to work hard to be by her side. The shooting of the school anniversary drama was very meticulous, and the progress was a little slow. Zhuo Yichen had more time to be with Chu Xiang. Ever since he had confirmed his feelings, he had gotten closer to Chu Xiong. Whenever Huang Hao and the others got too close to Chu Xiong, he would always be able to keep them away without leaving a trace. Xia Zhou laughed at him for being a jealous king with a crush. He didn't comment. Anyway, Chu Xiong didn't like those men, so why couldn't he do that? The guest house variety show had also been broadcasting. The fans of Zhuo Yichen and the female singer became more and more enthusiastic. They edited many sweet videos of their love, wrote fan fiction, and even photoshopped their intimate photos. All kinds of analysis said that they were real. Because the variety show was full of true feelings, and the two of them both loved to sing, many of the fans of the couple began to look forward to seeing the female singer at Zhuo Yichen's concert. Zhuo Yichen didn't expect that there would be such imaginative people. Many of the fans of the couple were sugar. In fact, he was like that to other MCs, but the fans of the couple felt that he was special to the female singer. Usually he didn't care about these things. After all, it couldn't be real. After a period of time the show would be over. But now he liked Chu Xiong. Why were there so many couples? He regretted it so much. If he had known, he would have paid attention to avoid arousing suspicion when he made the show. When the new episode was broadcasted, there were even photoshopped photos of the couple's fans in his chat. Coincidentally, Chu Xiong saw it. At that time, Zhuo Yichen was sitting beside Chu Xiong. When he saw Chu Xiong flipping through the posts in the chat, he promised in annoyance, "I'm too careless. I won't do it again." Chu Xiong looked at him. "Won't do what? Won't you help your female partner?" Zhuo Yichen said seriously. "Anyway, I can't let people misunderstand. There's nothing going on between us, and we can't even be considered good friends. These photoshopped photos make it seem like we're in love. It's annoying even if fans of the couple argue." He glanced at Chu Xiong and asked tentatively, "What will your fans think when they see this? You're also my fan. Will you mind?" Chu Xiong looked at the photo. It was a photoshopped photo of the two of them hugging. It was quite realistic. She held her chin and said, "It does feel weird. If you were alone it would be weird too. I still think that you look more handsome when you're alone." Zhuo Yichen's lips curled up, but he quickly controlled himself and said, "I'm a person to begin with. Isn't this all fake? Don't look at it. I'll pay more attention in the future and there won't be such things. I have an interview tomorrow. I'll clarify it." Chu Xiong laughed and said, "I didn't expect you to mind it so much. How can you clarify something like this? The more you clarify, the messier it gets. If both sides don't say anything, the popularity will die down after a while." Zhuo Yichen felt that Chu Xiong was starting to care about him. He started to joke with her. "No, I have to protect my reputation as a bachelor." When he was interviewed, he really did clarify the matter about the couple. Using a joking tone, he inadvertently brought up this topic while chatting with the host. Then, he jokingly said that he was still busy charging his batteries and didn't have time to date for the time being. All of a sudden, he personally rejected all of the couples. This time, the three main couples of Zhuo Yichen cooled down to a certain extent. Only the charging couple, who were silently munching on candies, were as excited as if it was the new year. This was because the main character had personally mentioned the word charging. Moreover, Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong were both studying in the school's directing department. They were the two most likely to become a couple. When the homestay variety show came to an end, Chu Xiong's short drama for the school's anniversary had all been approved and was broadcast on various major platforms. The school's official Weibo account released a list of all the crew members. The second male lead, Xia Zhou, and the assistant director, Zhuo Yichen, caused their fans to celebrate. Being able to participate in the school's commemorative short drama meant that the school approved of them. It was rare that there was no conflict between the two groups of fans, and they were all promoting the short drama. Then, the school's official Weibo account released the highlights of the shooting, showing the students' seriousness and hard work. In the highlights, there was a scene of Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen discussing things together. Some netizens noticed Chu Xiong Why did this beauty look so familiar? Soon someone confirmed that she was Zhuo Yichen's famous fan, Zui Xixiang. Then some sharp-eyed netizens saw the words, Executive Editor Chu Xiang. Combining the three elements of Chu Huang, ZYC Xiang, and Film Academy Editor, they immediately guessed that this Chu Xiang was ZYC Xiang. Therefore, Zhuo Yichen was the assistant director of the short drama, and Chu Xiang was the executive editor. What kind of cooperation was this? Did Chu Xiang also become a fan? Sure enough, one had to be in the same field as their idols to have a chance to know each other. They were now colleagues. The charging duo went wild again. This was really the main character giving out candy. Compared to the hard-edited clips of the couple's fans, this was how Zhuo Yichen looked like when he didn't avoid arousing suspicion and smiled sincerely, okay? However, after seeing the actions of the couple's fans, they continued to be cute and refused to mention the two of them anywhere else. They only hoped to protect this pure land and wait for the flowers to bloom. Chapter 118. There were only 5 episodes of the school anniversary short series, and each episode was broadcast in less than a week. Surprisingly, this school drama was particularly touching. Many scenes could evoke people's memories of their school days. That feeling of bitterness, nostalgia, and regret gave the short series a super high score of 9.8, and the number of views continued to increase. This short series was like the best advertisement, letting the public know that the students of the Film Academy were actually so outstanding. The short series that they independently produced was actually of such high quality. It was really amazing. The main director, assistant director, chief editor, and lead actor of the production team were frequently mentioned by major marketing accounts, and they also became fiercely famous. Chu Xiang's Weibo followers were increasing by a lot every day. Most of them were not fans of Zhuo Yichen who were following her, but fans that were attracted to her by her own charisma. She was beautiful, had a good temperament, and was first class in editing, comics, copywriting, storytelling, crisis PR, academics, and IQ. She was even first class when it came to scolding people. It was hard not to like her. Ran, who was capable and did not cause trouble, was liked everywhere. Now, even passers-by had a very good impression of her. Chu Xiang's control over the editing of every scene of the school anniversary short drama allowed the professionals in the industry to see her ability. A good editor could really turn something rotten into something magical. The high praise for this school short series was 60% due to Chu Xiang's efforts. Her editing of every point was just right, and it truly touched the hearts of the audience. In addition, Chu Xiang was a student that Professor Lin often praised. Even Director Chen was full of praise when he mentioned her, so she became very famous in the industry. Soon she received several film and TV series editing offers. Chu Xiang screened them herself, then went to discuss with Professor Lin. She accepted a web series as the chief editor. Among the offers, there were films by well-known directors and big-budget TV series, but they all asked her to be one of the editors in the editing team. To the outside world, she only had the Zhuo Yichen concert and the short drama about the school anniversary. Therefore, they were not given a high position. However, she was on par with Professor Lin as the chief editor in Director Chen's Fleeting Time. If she were to become one of the members of the editing team now, she would be going downhill. She would definitely not be able to improve. It would be better to choose a web drama with a good script and crew and be the chief editor to create another masterpiece. By then, Fleeting Years would have already been broadcasted, and her status would naturally rise to the height that it should have. Chu Xiang started working in the production team. Other than a few professional courses, she didn't go back to school. Zhuo Yichen felt a lot more lonely in school. When there were no classes, he would practice singing, dancing, and musical instruments in the practice room to prepare for the concert at the end of the year. Every time he rested, Zhuo Yichen would think about what Chu Xiang was doing. That kind of unrequited love always made him feel uneasy. He felt tormented after a short while, so he had to come up with a solution. Sister Chu Xiang, I've rehearsed a new dance. Do you want to see it? Do you think it's okay? Zhuo asked Dong to take a video of him practicing and send it to Chu Xiong. In the video, Zhuo moved with the powerful rhythm of the music. Every point was extremely accurate, and his whole body exuded confidence and charisma. After Chu Xiong watched it, she immediately replied with a super awesome emoji and sent him a voice message with a smile. Your dance is really good. Please give me a few more performances. I want to see a good concert. Zhuo smiled and said, Okay, I'll let you see it. He thought about the concert plan and said, I'll show you when I'm done practicing. He asked Dong to take a short video of him doing a street dance and sent it to Chu Xiong. How about this? I just learned it this year. Zhuo street dance was not bad. Although it could not be compared to professional dancers, it was already very cool and beautiful. However, when Chu Xiong saw Zhuo sweat-soaked clothes and hair, she hurriedly said, I'm just kidding. Don't practice so hard. You're exhausted. It's also good to sing a few quiet songs. Anyway, you sing well. Everyone will like it. I'm going to rest now. Don't worry. Zhuo asked again in a soft voice. Was my street dance good? Chu Xiong rubbed her ears. It was super good. Don't talk to me in such a gentle voice. It's against the rules. Zhuo held the phone and laughed happily. He continued to speak in a soft voice. My voice is like this. I can't help it, okay? Sister, you have to learn to adapt to the changes in your idol. I'm a man who will become more and more charming. Chu Xiong burst into laughter. I think you should change your name to Narcissistic Daffodil. If you continue to talk like this, your female fans will circle the earth in the future. When that happens, you'll have a hard time. That won't happen. I have my own plans. The more Chu Xiong did not want him to talk like this, the more he acted like this. Chu Xiong was attracted to his voice from the beginning. Now that his voice was much better than before, she naturally could not stand it. Zhuo clearly spoke louder when he was filming or doing interviews. It was normal. Why did his voice sound so coquettish in private? Chu Xiong even specially put on her earphones. She could not let others hear her brother who was so good at singing. From then on, Zhuo found a way to tease Chu Xiong. Whether he was dancing, singing, practicing his instruments or styling, he would ask Dong to record a video and send it to Chu Xiong. Then he would use Chu Xiong's favorite voice to tease her. His voice was really irresistible. Sometimes, his low laughter could make one's bones melt. Those soft and gentle words were really nice to listen to. Dong repeatedly protested that Zhuo could flirt with his sister if he wanted to. It was not appropriate for him to work overtime. He insisted that Zhuo give him a bonus before he stopped. Then, he conscientiously filmed Zhuo to make him even more charming. Zhuo fatigue from training disappeared with Chu Xiong's participation. He did not feel tired from training non-stop. Instead, he was full of anticipation every time he woke up. He hoped that he could take a good or interesting video and share it with Chu Xiong. He hoped that he could present a good concert at the end. However, such days did not last long. The company was still keeping an eye on him and counting on him to make money. His contract was in the company's hands. There were many things that needed to be prepared to hold a concert. The company used this as an excuse to negotiate with him. They asked him to film an outdoor reality show and make a guest appearance in a movie. The company wanted to make money, so the resources they found were definitely not bad. If the filming was good, it could further increase Zhuo popularity. However, the problem was that Zhuo had to study, hold a concert and train. His time was already up. It would be very tiring for him to participate in an outdoor reality show. At the same time, he had to make a guest appearance in a movie. How could he concentrate on studying the role? However, the concert was now in the company's hands. Zhuo had to agree even if he did not want to. So many of his fans were waiting to watch his concert. He could not change the concert. Fortunately, the outdoor reality show was not filmed every day. It was filmed once a week. After filming 2 episodes, it would be broadcast while filming. This gave him time to catch his breath. As long as he could endure this period, everything would be better. Since he was so busy, he sent fewer training videos to Chu Seong. There was once when he did not contact Chu Seong for 3 days in a row. He felt uncomfortable doing anything. After filming the reality show, he video called Chu Seong alone in the lounge. Chu Seong looked at him wiping his sweat with a tissue. She frowned and said, "What kind of show is this? Is it so tiring?" Zhuo Chen laughed and said, "It's okay. The game just now was too intense." He threw away the tissue and held his phone on the table with one hand. He rested his chin on the table and looked at the screen with the other hand. "Sister Chu Seong, it will be broadcast this Sunday night. Remember to watch it. Remember. I already helped you promote it on Weibo. Since you've worked so hard, I have to promote this show." Chu Seong could see that he was tired. She felt sorry for him. "Are you done? Do you still have to go to the practice room to train at night? That won't do. You should stagger your schedule. It's okay to skip a few classes. After your concert, I'll take you to the tutor for private tutoring. You'll definitely catch up." Zhuo Chen closed his eyes slightly and shook his head. He looked at her and smiled. "I'm fine, really. If it's too tiring, I'll adjust. Don't worry." He saw that Chu Seong was still not smiling. He coaxed her softly. "Okay, I'm only 19 years old. This kind of hard work is still bearable. It won't be long. My contract will be up next summer. I won't have such intensive work in the future." Chu Seong sighed. "Actually, it's okay to pay the liquidated damages and terminate the contract. At least you'll be happier and won't be so tired. No, if I hadn't signed with this company, I wouldn't have been so lucky to become famous. Now, I'll treat it as returning the favor. Our friendship has been worn away. This is the last bit of dignity. When it's next summer, we'll go our separate ways. It won't be long." Zhuo Chen smiled at Chu Seong. "Sister, when the time comes, can you come to my studio? It's a free contract. There's no commission. Just a name. I'll even give you a bonus." Chu Seong smiled. "Your conditions are too good. Okay, I'll wait for you to open your studio." Zhuo Chen was full of smiles when he heard this. "Sister, your fan filter is still so thick. I tricked you into joining my studio. You can't go back on your word. I'll come to you next summer to sign the contract. I won't regret it. As long as you open your studio, I'll be the first to join." These words seemed to be another promise to be together. Zhuo Chen's eyes were suddenly filled with stars. They were full of smiles. They were all for Chu Seong on the screen. The outdoor reality show, Fancy Partners, was soon going to be broadcast. There were 6 MCs in this show. Every episode, they would invite a partner to be their guest to complete the task of the competition with them. Sometimes, a pair of partners would form an alliance with another pair. They would kill the others and then fight in the end. There were many ways to compete. The show didn't care. Therefore, there were many opportunities for the celebrities to compete. The variety show was very effective. The reason why this show was called Fancy Partners was because the theme of each episode was different. For example, the first episode was about classmates. Zhuo Chen and the others invited a classmate who was famous to be their guest. The second episode was about old and young partners. Each of them invited a senior in the entertainment industry to participate. The games set by the show were different every time. The punishments and rewards were also different. The overall show was very interesting. It was liked by the public as soon as it was broadcast. Xingchen's fans were the happiest. This time, not only did they get to see their idols, but they also got to see their idols' quick-wittedness, flexibility, and speed when playing games. They were much more lively than in the movies and TV series. When the third episode of Fancy Partners was broadcast, Zhuo Chen held the concert that he had been preparing for a long time. Many Xingchen posted on Weibo that they didn't manage to get the tickets. The tickets were really sold out in seconds. Many new fans who had just become his fans this year also joined the ticket-grabbing industry. Previously, there were anti-fans who mocked Zhuo Yichen's declining popularity and said that no one would watch his concert. Xingchen was depressed. At this time, I really hope that he is popular. Then I can get the tickets to see him. Many Xingchen petitioned for Zhuo Yichen to hold a bigger concert so that they would have more chances to get the tickets. Of course, Zhuo Yichen also hoped that they could come. However, their contracts were with the company. The concerts that the four of them held were all arranged by the company. They had to consider the average strength of the four of them and limit the size of the venues to about the same. It was impossible for Zhuo Yichen to hold a big concert alone. Zhuo Yichen silently remembered this in his heart. There was still half a year before the contract was terminated. In that case, he would definitely try his best to let more fans see him at his next concert. This time, Zhuo Yichen arranged the live broadcast and filming equipment himself. The images and effects were very good. He had always kept Chu Xiang's high wish in his heart and adjusted the performance. In total, he danced 4 super hot dances and sang 10 high songs. This way, even if there were gentle and quiet songs interspersed in between, the whole performance was still explosive. He also performed a violin performance. He stood in the middle of the stage wearing a suit. Under the spotlight, he played a beautiful music, just like an elegant noble son. Zhuo Yichen always surprised his fans with the drum set in his previous concert and the violin and street dance in this concert. Attending his concert was the most worthwhile ticket price. That night, the screams of the audience didn't stop. Everyone in the audience stood up and danced, waving the light sticks in their hands with all their might. Chu Xiang was in the first row, recording Zhuo Yichen's every highlight with her camera. Her face was full of smiles, but in her heart, she was hoping that summer would come sooner. She didn't want to see her boy working so hard anymore. Zhuo Yichen's concert was a great success. The people in the audience were high, and the people watching the live broadcast also saw a super exciting performance. There was no need for the fans to brag. Even the passers-by who saw it were full of praise. It was definitely the #1 trending topic. Chu Xiang worked through the night to edit the best video, so that all the audience could feel the man's charm when they watched the replay. She also posted a 9-palace grid on Weibo with links to the sponsors of each outfit and the original live broadcast platform. Now, everyone knew that she was in charge of editing the concert. The photos she took were also the 9 best photos among all the female fans. Xingchen's fans came to her to express their gratitude and forwarded her Weibo post. Many of her own fans also supported Zhuo Yichen and got along very well with Xingchen. The anti-fans couldn't do anything to Zhuo Yichen, so they could only mock and diss Zhuo Yichen. All kinds of statistics couldn't go up, and they couldn't even get a hot comment in the marketing account's comment section. The traffic was getting lower and lower. Some of the anti-fans even mocked Chu Xiang. Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiang were definitely in a mutually beneficial relationship. They tied Zhuo Yichen together to create hype and make Chu Xiang famous. Xingchen hadn't made a move yet, but Chu Xiang's fans had already insulted the anti-fans to the point that they couldn't even recognize their own mothers. Birds of a feather flocked together. Many of Zhuo Yichen's fans were motivated, so they were so awesome when they posted the results last time. As for Chu Xiang's fans, not only were they motivated, but they were also very aggressive. When they made a move, they were like a disciplined army and directly crushed the anti-fans. The anti-fans were baffled. Just Chu Xiang alone was at the level of a god of war, so it was especially difficult to deal with. Now Chu Xiang had so many fans. Even Chu Xiang was very surprised. If it wasn't for this incident, she wouldn't have known that so many fans were her fans. Her fans were so supportive, so of course she wouldn't disappoint them. She and Zhuo Yichen had always used their achievements to speak the truth. They directly announced their latest achievements on Weibo, nominated for the Best Editing Award for the School Anniversary Short Film, and nominated for the Best Supporting Actor Award for Dark Night Will Be Bright. The year-end award ceremony was an evaluation of all the works in the entertainment industry that year, so it was very valuable. Chu Xiang and Zhuai Chen were both nominated for awards, so they had to walk the red carpet for the ceremony. Although the two of them didn't walk together, their crews were next to each other. All the fans in the entertainment industry were watching the live broadcast of the ceremony, and many netizens and passers-by were also watching. Zhuai Chen was wearing a black suit, a white shirt, and a bow tie. He looked like a noble young master. He walked beside his idol, Xiao Qian, and the smile on his face became more lively, as if he was very honored. After that, Chu Xiang walked the red carpet alone in a red dress. Zhuai Chen turned his head and glanced at her. Coincidentally, the MC mentioned that he was the assistant director of the school anniversary short film, so he took the opportunity to smile. That's right, so tonight I have two responsibilities. I'm also responsible for welcoming the most outstanding editor in our crew, Chu Xiang. After Zhuai Chen greeted Xiao Qian, he strode towards Chu Xiang and let her hold his arm as they walked the red carpet together. The fans instantly screamed. Actually, there was no such arrangement, but Chu Xiang was a new behind-the-scenes staff in the entertainment industry. If she was alone, she might be ignored by the MC. Zhuai Chen didn't want Chu Xiang to receive such treatment. He was such a good sister to Chu Xiang, and she deserved everyone's attention. The crew of Dark Knight Will Be Bright had already left. The MC smiled and said, "Come, come, come. Chen and Chu Xiang, come over here and have a chat." Everyone knows that Chu Xiang is the dark horse in the editing industry this year. Her editing for the school anniversary short film was even nominated for the Best Editing Award. How are you feeling right now, Chu Xiang? Are you excited? Are you confident that you'll win the award today? Chu Xiang smiled and said, "I'm not excited. I just like editing, so I'm working hard to learn and improve my ability. I want to do the best I can. I'm very happy that this result has received everyone's love and recognition. Winning the award is secondary." Wow, Chu Xiang has a good attitude. What about Yi Chen? Is Yi Chen confident that he'll win the Best Supporting Actor award? Zhuai Chen smiled and said, "I'm the same as Chu Xiang. I'm working hard to give my best performance. The fact that everyone likes this role is the biggest affirmation for me. I'll continue to work hard in the future and bring better works to everyone. That's the most important thing. As for the award, I'll treat it as normal." The MC looked at the two of them and smiled. Everyone knows that Chu Xiang is actually Yi Chen's fan. Chu Xiang even posted the manga that the two of you wrote in the past. She wanted to recharge with her idol. Now it seems that the two of you are very similar. Even your thoughts are the same. Chen, what do you think about being in the same frame as your idol and fan today? Zhuai Chen and Chu Xiang looked at each other and smiled at the same time. Zhuai Chen said, "Chu Xiang is not only my fan, but she's also my senior. She's helped me a lot. She hasn't shown her excellence in all aspects yet. If she wants an idol, I think she's also my idol. I really hope that I can achieve as much as her in my professional field when I'm in my senior year." There was another round of criticism in the fan section. The MC was surprised and said, "That's a very surprising answer. Yi Chen, do you regret not being nominated as the assistant director for the school anniversary drama?" Zhuai Chen shook his head and said, "No, this is my first time directing a drama. I'm still lacking in many areas. The main thing is to accumulate experience and learn. This drama only has 5 episodes and it's a very short story. It's also an answer sheet for us students. Compared to the seniors in the industry, we're still a lot more inexperienced. That's why I think Chu Xiang is great. Her nomination for the Best Editing Award has already proven her ability." The MC didn't have time to ask any more questions, so he smiled and said, "Both of you are great and outstanding. I hope that Yi Chen and Chu Xiang will be able to win awards and bring more and better works to everyone. This way, please." Chu Xiang and Zhuai Chen waved at the reporters and fans again and walked down the red carpet with smiles on their faces. The two production crews were sitting next to each other. Chu Xiang was the only one nominated for the school anniversary drama, so Chu Xiang was the only one who came. The production crew of Dark Knight Will See Tomorrow saw that they knew each other, so they reserved 2 seats for them so that they could sit together. Coincidentally, the other side of Zhuo Yichen was Xiao Qian. From the looks of it, Zhuo Yichen was Xiao Qian's fan, while Chu Xiong was Zhuo Yichen's fan. For some reason, the 3 of them being in the same frame made people feel inexplicably excited. The fans of the 3 families paid special attention to their friendly interactions. As the most popular drama of the year, Dark Knight Will See Tomorrow won the Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Screenplay, and Best Drama Series awards. Out of everyone present, the production crew had the most people on stage. When Zhuo Yichen was announced as the winner, Xiao Qian was the first to applaud. He stood up and gave him a big hug. He said to him, "You're great. You deserve it." Zhuo Yichen revealed a rare bright smile. He turned around and gently hugged Chu Xiong. At that moment, he felt like his heart was about to jump out of his chest. He was even more excited than when the presenter announced that he had won the Best Supporting Actor award. He really hugged Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong laughed in his ear. "You're the best." With the affirmation of his idol and his sweetheart, Zhuo Yichen felt as if he had reached the peak of his life. He suppressed the excitement in his heart and walked up to the podium. When he received the trophy, he had already calmed down. He smiled and gave the speech he had prepared beforehand. Finally, he looked at Xiao Qian and thanked him. "When I first started acting, it was because of Brother Qian. Being able to work with Brother Qian in this drama is the happiest thing for me. Brother Qian gave me a lot of guidance, which is why I was able to receive this award. Thank you, Brother Qian. In the future, I will continue to work hard and follow Brother Qian on the path of acting." The Xingqian fans who were watching the live broadcast were so excited that they filled the screen with comments. This was simply a confession from a fan to their idol. Their idol was really a winner in chasing after idols. Even they were happy for Zhuo Yichen. After Zhuo Yichen stepped down from the stage, the guest presenter joked, "Yichen, the child we all know, has already grown up into an adult." Just now his speech was very calm and composed. Only at the end, when he confessed to Brother Qian, he was a little emotional. "Brother Qian, you're not bad. To have such an outstanding fan, you must be proud, right?" The camera zoomed in on Xiao Qian. Xiao Qian smiled and nodded. He gave a thumbs up to show his approval. When Zhuo Yichen returned to his seat, he really laughed like a child. Everyone laughed kindly. After that, many other awards were presented. When it was time for the Best Editing Award, Zhuo Yichen nervously touched his eyebrows. His other hand, which was on his lap, slowly clenched into a fist. When the guest presenter called out Chu Xiong's name, he reacted faster than Chu Xiong. In an instant, he smiled happily and gently hugged Chu Xiong. "Congratulations. Congratulations to you, Chu Xiong Jejia." Chu Xiong smiled at him. She shook hands with the people around her and walked up the stage. She didn't know how many award ceremonies she had attended. She didn't know how many awards she had received. It was impossible for her to be nervous. Therefore, everyone only saw a beautiful girl calmly walking up the stage. She casually chatted with the guest presenter and received the trophy. Even her smile was so relaxed and natural. Chu Xiong looked at the trophy and smiled. "I would like to thank the director, Huang Hao, and the assistant director, Zhuo Yichen. They listened to my opinion and allowed me to edit this film with my own ideas. I would also like to thank the editing team for their help in perfecting the editing process. Of course, the person I would like to thank the most is my mentor, Professor Lin Aichin. It was Professor Lin who taught me the most professional editing knowledge. It was Professor Lin who stimulated my potential time and time again. It was because of this that I was able to come up with better ideas for editing. I will continue to work hard. I hope that in the future I will be able to bring you better works. Thank you, everyone." Chu Xiong finished her speech in a very formal manner and walked back to her seat amidst a round of applause. Zhuo Yichen naturally took her trophy and looked at it. He leaned slightly towards her and whispered, "Why aren't you nervous at all?" Chu Xiong smiled. "Because I am at this level." Zhuo Yichen couldn't help but laugh. Yes, your narcissism is comparable to mine. Let's go together later. My mom is going to cook a feast. Let's go back to celebrate. If my mom knows that both of us have won awards, she will be overjoyed. Okay, I haven't seen Auntie in a long time. In the live broadcast, the two of them didn't say much. After a few words, they continued to watch the award ceremony on the stage. However, this short interaction was enough to make the hearts of the couple's fans scream like crazy. For the couple's fans, this was another one of their favorite moments. From the moment Zhuo Yichen came back to hold Chu Xiong's hand, they were already high on sugar. Later on, when they were interviewed, it was obvious that they had a good relationship. Even their thoughts were exactly the same. The host even mentioned charging. Later on, when they sat together, they whispered a few words to each other and even hugged each other. Both of them even won awards. The two of them were so outstanding. Weren't they too compatible? The charging duo had already started to appear in the live broadcast. Everyone was overjoyed. Chu Xiong's fans and most of Xing Chen's fans were also very happy. They were happy that Chu Xiong had won awards. They were also happy that Chu Xiong, as a fan, had been acknowledged by their idol. This kind of feeling was like motivation for them. Other people could become winners in life by chasing their idols. If they continued to work hard, they might also be acknowledged by their idols in the future. However, there were also some Xing Chen fans who were unhappy. They felt that Chu Xiong was like them in the past. Now, she was getting closer to Zhuo Yichen and was receiving special treatment from Zhuo Yichen. They were a little annoyed. This group of fans were not old fans. The old fans had been through a lot of hardships, and those who remained were those who had fought alongside Chu Xiong. How could they casually say something bad? When this group of fans came out to say something, Chu Xiong's fans immediately rebutted them. Who didn't have fans? When Chu Xiong did so many things for Zhuo Yichen, where were they? Now they were jealous. Didn't they know that their idol only used words that were true? If they had the ability, then they should work hard to become stronger and show Zhuo Yichen. If they couldn't, then they should stop being jealous of others. Zhuo Yichen had personally said that he also saw Chu Xiong as his idol. If they could gain Zhuo Yichen's approval, then they should come out to diss Chu Xiong. The matter was blown away before it could even make a ripple, without a ripple. After the award ceremony ended, Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen left the venue one after another. They avoided the reporters and fans, got into the same car, and returned to the Zhuo residence. On the way back, Zhuo Yichen had already celebrated with his family. Mother Zhuo had specially made a few Chu Xiong's favorite dishes to celebrate. When she saw her, she went up to her and hugged her. Xiong Xiong, you're amazing. You won such an amazing award before you even graduated. Your future is limitless. Chu Xiong smiled and hugged her back. I think I'm pretty amazing too. Mother Zhuo laughed. The two of you don't even need others to praise you. Qinchin, bring Xiong Xiong to the walk-in closet. I've prepared a new set of home clothes. It's not comfortable in a gown. Go change. I'll get the dishes. School head. Zhuo Yichen changed his shoes and brought Chu Xiong to the walk-in closet. He said a little selfishly, my mom always calls you Xiong Xiong. Sounds pretty nice when you get used to it. My name has always sounded nice, okay? Chu Xiong saw the home clothes that Mother Zhuo had prepared. They were about the same height, but Mother Zhuo was slightly more voluptuous than her. They could fit into each other's sizes. When Zhuo Yichen closed the door for her, he said in a low voice, then I'll call you Xiong Xiong from now on. Xiong Xiong, take your time to change. I'm going back to my room. When Chu Xiong opened the door, he was already gone. She closed the door again and changed her clothes. She muttered, that brat did it on purpose. He spoke so normally outside, but he had to use such a voice in private. Mother Zhuo's cooking skills were very good. She made 12 dishes that smelled delicious. The few of them sat at the table and ate happily. Mother Zhuo found out about Chu Xiong's family situation when she went shopping and had a meal with her. She pitied Chu Xiong, a girl who had no relatives. Seeing her living such a good life, she liked her even more. She kept putting food in her bowl. She was happy from the bottom of her heart that she had won such an important award. Actually, Chu Xiong had taken advantage of this award. There hadn't been an editor at Professor Lin's level this year. Her competitors weren't the best. Also, the school drama had limited material. She was smart enough to use the limited material to create a touching effect. It was too outstanding. It was because of these two factors that she stood out and won such an important award as a student. However, this award was well-deserved this year. She didn't feel guilty about winning it. Anyway, one day, she would surpass everyone and win this award until her hands went limp. After this grand award ceremony, the celebrities who had won the award were trending one by one. Basically, none of the people behind the scenes were trending. Among them, the most special one was Chu Xiong. In the past, she was trending as Zhuo Yichen's sister. This time, she walked the red carpet with Zhuo Yichen's arm and won the Best Editing Award of the year. A person behind the scenes was more popular than many celebrities. She had more than 10 million fans. This was really a miracle in the entertainment industry. The topic #StarChaser# was trending again. Not only was Chu Xiong so outstanding that she could laugh with her idol, but there were also Zhuo Yichen and Xiao Qian. The two of them were like brothers. It really made the fans envious. Everyone analyzed a principle. To be a star chaser, not only did one have to work hard, but they also had to be outstanding enough. Just like how Zhuo Yichen publicly announced that Chu Xiong was his idol, he also wanted to be as successful as Chu Xiong in his 4th year of university. This was because Chu Xiong was outstanding enough. She was still in her 4th year of university. To be able to become a dark horse and win the Best Editing Award was simply the rhythm of a cheat. She was a rare talent. No wonder the two of them got along well. Outstanding people always had a lot in common to talk about. The story of Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen was too legendary. After being in the same frame and holding hands on the red carpet, their CP fans suddenly grew stronger. They even successfully found an organization and became a member of the Charging Duo. The growth of their CP fans finally attracted the attention of all parties. Inexplicably, some of Xing Chen's and Chu Xiong's fans were very optimistic about this CP. Perhaps it was because they had liked the two of them for so long. Even if they imagined the two of them being together, they would accept it. Most of the remaining fans of both parties sensibly ignored the CP fans and did not give them any attention. Only a portion of them dissed the CP fans. As the number of CP fans increased, they also started to list the sweet spots between Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen. With this list, there were really too many sweet spots, and the bond between them was not shallow. With this comparison, many fans actually realized that the Charging CP was the most mysterious CP of all. It was much sweeter than the other CPs that were forcefully pulled together. On the other hand, the CP fans expressed that they would wait until the official announcement that they were together. They would definitely wait until the official announcement that they were together. Previously, whenever Zhuo Yichen worked with a member of the opposite sex, there would be CP fans. Therefore, even if the charging duo of Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong this time was a little real, the fans did not have much of a reaction. Chu Xiong did not use him to create hype. Furthermore, Chu Xiong was one of their own. No matter what happened, it would just be a show for others to watch. They were the most rational and cultured fans. They kept a low profile and only used actual results if it was not officially announced. In the subsequent interviews, Zhuo Yichen asked the staff to remove all the questions about the CP. In other words, out of the 4 famous CP fans that appeared, he and Chu Xiong were the only ones that he did not refute. This point was understood by the charging CP fans. They silently chewed on their sweets and were exceptionally happy. The first batch of CP fans seriously managed the subsequent fans. They instructed them to keep a low profile and resolutely not to cause trouble for the couple. Due to various factors, the charging group actually became the most harmonious CP fans with the only fans. After the award ceremony, Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong were not too busy. They crammed their school curriculum and even consulted their tutors about a lot of problems. They both ranked first in their final exams. In the past year, they frequently appeared on TV and did not fall behind in their results. They turned in the best results. Winter break was approaching. Zhuorichen's concert was over, the New Year's Eve party performance was over, and the guest role in the movie was also over. All that was left was the weekly filming of Fancy Partners and the New Year's gala rehearsal. He could finally relax. When he went to film Fancy Partners again, the director's theme for the new episode was phone partners. They were required to call a person and not hang up the phone. They had to complete various tasks by asking the other party to say something or ask the other party to help solve problems. Each person had 3 chances to make a call and choose a person. This was very difficult. It was not easy to make clear through the phone. There were also restrictions on what they could say. Zhuorichen's first call was to Geng Xian because this guy had a joke. Who knew that Geng Xian did not guess what he was going to do and hung up after joking with him? Zhuoyichen thought about it and called Chu Xiong for the second time. Chapter 119. Zhuoyichen dialed Chu Xiong's number. The other MCs were still laughing at the side and joking. Geng Xian, you're not going to call your 3 brothers one by one, are you? Just use up the opportunity. It's time to test the tacit understanding between you brothers. Zhuoyichen raised his index finger and shook it. The ones who cooperate with me the most are not necessarily my brothers. Even if they guessed that I was recording a show, they would still cheat me. Based on my experience, this person can definitely do it. I'll definitely get first place today. The phone was connected, and Chu Xiong's pleasant voice came from the receiver. Hello, Yichen. Zhuoyichen signaled for everyone to be quiet. He smiled when he saw the staff show the board. The first request on the board was, "You are the most handsome." He immediately said, "Do you have time? Is it convenient to talk?" Chu Xiong replied, "It's convenient. I don't feel confident when I look in the mirror today. It seems that I'm not as good looking as others." Chu Xiong didn't wait for him to finish before laughing out loud. "Are you still asleep?" The other MCs showed exaggerated expressions of schadenfreude, thinking that the call had failed again. Who knew that the next second they heard Chu Xiong say, "You are the most handsome, better looking than everyone else. Wake up quickly and recognize reality, okay?" Zhuoyichen smiled and said, I'm awake. The more I look at myself, the more handsome I feel." He gave a thumbs up to the camera and waved to the staff. The second board was shown, asking Chu Xiong to transfer some money to you. He immediately said, "I was so unconfident just now, maybe because I didn't bring any money today. I only have a dozen yuan left in my phone and wallet. I haven't eaten yet." Chu Xiong glanced at the date and time on her phone and smiled in understanding. Wasn't Zhuoyichen recording Fancy Partners at this time? So he must be doing a mission to call her. She followed this train of thought and replied, "Then I'll transfer some money to you. Hurry up and eat. You don't have to pay me back." The third question was, "You're too fat." This was a little difficult. After all, Zhuoyichen's figure was just right. Had nothing to do with being fat. Zhuoyichen replied without hesitation, "I think I'd better not eat it. I lost so much weight when I was filming Fleeting Years. Sai, if I didn't lose weight when you were filming, how would I look?" Chu Xiong guessed the answer. "Then her image is too good. She's not miserable enough." Being miserable is one thing, but her figure is also. Figure? Chu Xiong immediately reacted and smiled. Compared to the character setting, you were too fat and too muscular. You didn't lose weight or lose weight. The fourth board was, "I want your autograph." This was something that normal family and friends would never want, and of course they wouldn't. Zhuoyichen had already guessed that Chu Xiong knew that he had filmed the show, so he said confidently, "That was a long time ago. Time flies. Do you remember when you first met me? Did you want to do anything when you saw me at that time?" "Yes, I wanted to take a photo of you." I wanted to ask for a photo with you and an autograph. The fifth board was for Zhuo Yichen to sing a line from his latest song. Chu Xiong had to answer the next line accurately, and then sing a line from his first song. He also needed Chu Xiong to answer the next line accurately. The melody and lyrics couldn't be wrong. This was quite difficult. After all, even relatives and friends might not be so familiar with his songs, and they might not sing along. They weren't his three brothers, so they didn't have an advantage. In the end, Zhuo Yichen smiled when he saw the board. I suddenly feel like singing. He cleared his throat and immediately sang a line from his latest song. When he paused, Chu Xiong seamlessly followed suit and sang the next two lines. He sang another line from his first song, and Chu Xiong answered it perfectly. All the MCs, including the staff, were stunned. Not only were Chu Xiong's lines completely correct, they were also super good. She was a singer, right? The staff reacted a little. This person didn't seem to be Zhuo Yichen's relative or friend. She seemed to be Zhuo Yichen's fan. The first thing they thought of was Zhuo Yichen's most famous fan, Chu Xiong. The more they thought about it, the more they felt that it was true. If that was the case, then the difficult questions they gave were completely wrong and allowed her to successfully complete them. The staff immediately wrote 6 adjacent boards and asked Chu Xiong to answer the words, "I hate you." They held back their laughter and waited to watch the show. However, when Zhuo Yichen saw it, he shook his head. "Give up. That's all for now. I finished 5 questions in 1 minute. What's wrong?" Chu Xiong was a little puzzled. Didn't they cooperate very well? They could almost answer the questions in seconds. Zhuo Yichen smiled and said, "It's nothing. It's impossible for you to answer this question. I'll wait for the results of the competition. I'll hang up first. I'll call you later." "Okay, bye." Zhuo Yichen waved his hand to everyone and smiled. It's absolutely impossible for her. After all, I'm so outstanding, right? Well, 5 questions in 1 minute is my result. I don't believe that anyone can surpass me. Come on. Next, when the other MCs challenged him, he just watched with a smile. If he gave Chu Xiong a hint, Chu Xiong would definitely say those 4 words. However, he would rather lose the competition than hear those 4 words from Chu Xiong's mouth. All the MCs finished their challenges one by one. Some of them didn't even finish 1 question, and some of them spent a lot of effort and luck to finish 3 questions. In the end, of course, Zhuo Yichen won. This beginning of the competition determined the order in which they set off to complete the task. Zhuo Yichen was the first to set off half an hour earlier. Chu Xiong also became his phone partner for this episode. Once again, she dialed the situation of Ming Lu's program and began to do the task while maintaining the phone call. The later tasks were even more difficult. Although there were no restrictions, the person on the other side of the phone couldn't see after all. Some graphics, mazes, clues on the scene, and so on were difficult to communicate through the phone. After the other MCs set off, they were all in a terrible state. One of the MCs was sweating in order to explain the clues clearly to the other side. However, Zhuo Yichen went all the way. There were several times when no one understood what he said. On the other side of the phone, Chu Xiong had already finished discussing with him. She seemed to understand him instantly. Even though they were on the phone, it was as if they had seen it with their own eyes. Who could compare with this kind of tacit understanding? Moreover, the IQ of the two of them was very high. They could quickly solve any problem they encountered with just a few words. The clues they found were also deduced in less than 2 minutes. There was even one time when the password was cracked purely by the two of them according to the overall game. They didn't even find any clues. The staff who designed the game was convinced. They watched as Zhuo Yichen completed the task 2 hours earlier than expected. They had no choice but to add a scene at the last minute. They wrote a 500-word short story and let Zhuo Yichen draw lots to decide whether they could call it a day or do something else. The staff secretly manipulated Zhuo Yichen to draw the task that they arranged. He had to go indoors and copy the short story with a brush while teaching Chu Xiong to recite the short story through the phone. They would be tested after half an hour. They needed each of them to recite one sentence at a time. 1 point would be deducted for each wrong word. If they were careless, all the points they had accumulated before would be deducted. The production team was helpless. They didn't have enough time to let Zhuori-chen call it a day. Moreover, they always called it a day at the same time. They could only give Zhuori-chen a task like this. Zhuori-chen set up his phone and started to write properly. He asked, "Are you tired after such a long time?" "I'm not tired. You have it harder. What do you want to do now?" "You have to memorize an essay while writing calligraphy. I'll teach you. Let's memorize it together." B. Zhuori-chen copied the short story and read the essay that the production team gave him sentence by sentence. Chu Xiong read a sentence after him. The two voices had different tones, but when they were put together like this, it actually gave off a very pleasant and comforting feeling. In particular, Zhuori-chen was still writing calligraphy seriously. This scene was too poetic. It was as if the atmosphere of the entire sports competition had turned into comfort and tranquility. The cameraman accidentally saw Zhuori-chen's calligraphy. It was written so well that it was obvious that he had practiced for many years. He quickly moved closer to take a close-up. Half an hour later, the staff came to check the calligraphy that he had copied and asked him and Chu Xiong to recite it. The two of them had already recited it several times. When they recited it, they were very fluent and didn't stutter at all. It was as if they were reading an essay. Moreover, because the two of them had good voices and were full of emotion when reciting, the whole essay was recited like a poem recital in a formal occasion. It made people want to listen to it again after listening to it. The staff was completely convinced and rewarded Zhuori-chen with a lot of points. Without waiting for the others, they were sure that Zhuori-chen was the first place in this episode. At this time, the other 5 MCs finally came back tired and protested. "Don't do this kind of theme in the future. This is not tiring from doing the task. It's tiring from the heart. Yes, don't blame us for not recording the next time you do a phone task. It's too difficult. Hey, let me ask you, who can understand those inexplicable things over the phone? We also have to cooperate with each other." "How do we cooperate?" the director said. But Yi-chen finished it, and he even finished it an hour before the scheduled time. The few of them were stunned and looked at Zhuori-chen. "Chen, you're good. Who's your partner? Tell us so that we can die with an understanding." Zhuori-chen had already hung up the phone. He smiled and hesitated for a moment. The director answered first. "It's such an obvious answer. Can't you guess it? Then you don't care too much about Yi-chen's matter. Hey, come out. I promise I won't beat you to death." The big brother of the MCs pointed at the director and stood up. After joking, he thought about it seriously and clapped his hands. "I know. Yi-chen, you're the one who won the Best Editing Award, right?" Zhuori-chen nodded. "If Brother Chen calls me, I can also cooperate perfectly." He deliberately tidied his hair and joked, "Hey, you won't understand this feeling." The few of them ran over to grab him and bullied him. They laughed and surrounded him to get the final reward. When this episode was broadcast, it was Zhuori-chen's highlight moment. The bullet screen was full of exclamations about how smart and tacit he and Chu Xiong were. Many people guessed that the other side of the antelope's words was Chu Xiong. At the end of the episode, they understood why Zhuori-chen could confidently say, "This person can definitely do it." It was because Chu Xiong was his true fan. Moreover, Chu Xiong's IQ and reflexes were super strong. Zhuori-chen's fans started to attack Chu Xiong. They were jealous of the tacit understanding between Zhuori-chen and Chu Xiong. Chu Xiong was a scheming woman. She was good at stirring up trouble on the internet to attract Zhuori-chen's attention. Then, she would use the opportunity of collaborating with Zhuori-chen to get close to Zhuori-chen. She wanted to use Zhuori-chen's popularity to get a good opportunity. Chu Xiong's fans didn't care about them. They just replied, "Your idol admires Xiong so much. Are you suspecting that your idol is blind?" Everyone could see how much Zhuori-chen valued Chu Xiong at the awards ceremony. Zhuo Chen personally said that Chu Xiong had helped him a lot and was his idol. Even walking the red carpet together, holding hands, hugging, and whispering with Zhuo Chen was the one who took the initiative. Now Du Wei was scolding Chu Xiong. Was there something wrong with his head? Du Wei was unreasonable because Chu Xiong did what a good sister would do. The biggest difference between her and others was that she was too outstanding in all aspects. She was too strong and blessed. Every time they interacted, it was Zhuo Chen who took the initiative. Even this time, Zhuo Chen took the initiative to call her. Compared to Zhuo Chen and other members of the opposite sex who avoided arousing suspicion like strangers, what right did they have to quarrel with Chu Xiong's fans? Du Wei could only use Zhuo Chen's mention of Xiao Qian to resist the CP. Zhuo Chen and Xiao Qian were fans and idols. Chu Xiong and Zhuo Chen were just like that. Chu Xiong's fans didn't challenge Du Wei, and the CP fans also didn't challenge him. No one cared about Du Wei. They could only blindly argue. The other fans were wildly praising Zhuo Chen and Chu Xiong's cleverness and wit. The two of them had shown too many high IQ performances in this episode. Their brains were flexible, and their thinking was three-dimensional. They could come up with the answers behind the twists and turns in minutes. The rarest thing was that the two of them had high IQ. They understood each other's meaning before they finished a sentence. The audience had to rely on post-production to understand many parts of the words. Now, everyone knew why the two of them were ranked first in their majors every time and were so loved by the teachers. They were outstanding enough. As long as they worked hard, they could continue to improve. This episode attracted a lot of fans for Zhuo Chen. There were also a lot of people who liked Chu Xiong. Moreover, this episode was very exciting and a little brain-burning. In addition to Zhuo Chen and Chu Xiong's highlight moments, the other MC's mistakes were also very funny. They were trending again, and the number of views soared. The program team tasted the sweetness. After careful analysis and comparison, they found that the various clips of Zhuo Chen and Chu Xiong's collaboration were the peak of views. At the same time, they had the most online viewers and the most bullet screen comments. Obviously, the collaboration between the two of them was the most popular. They immediately held a meeting to adjust the shooting content of the latest episode and changed the theme to fan partners. Of course, the program team had discussed it with the MCs in advance. The other 5 were not idols, so they did not have any special thoughts about it. Anyway, it was just a game. If they invited amateurs or artists, it would be the same. Inviting fans could also be considered a benefit for fans. There was no problem at all. When Zhuo Chen was asked, he did not directly agree. He needed to think about it. Then, he used a moment to recall all the interactions between him and Chu Xiong that could be found by outsiders since they met. He recalled the changes in the composition of his fans since his debut. He flipped through the comments made by their respective fans, Du Wei, CP fans and passers-by. He had his own ideas since he started doing things. He had always walked in the direction he wanted to go. Although he was not yet 20 years old, he had been in the entertainment industry for many years. He had experienced the love of fans, the hate of the entire internet, the oppression of the company, and the storms of work. As for the fan community, the popularity of traffic, the power, and the direction of public opinion, he had already known it in his heart after falling and climbing up again and again. Just like when he paid attention to Chu Xiong on his main account. He did not deliberately do anything. But if he accidentally found the right time, he would naturally get closer to Chu Xiong. If the time was not right, he would pay special attention to avoid suspicion. He had found a few good opportunities. Many irrational fans had already left. So until now, even if the CP fans of him and Chu Xiong had grown, there had not been any big problems. They had always been very stable. He knew that Chu Xiong might not agree to his pursuit in the future, but at least he had to slowly pave the road before he was qualified to pursue Chu Xiong. For example, he would gradually think of ways to distance himself from the fans who were only interested in men and fantasized that their idols were their boyfriends. In the future, most of the fans would be fans of his career, character, and works. When that time came, regardless of whether Chu Xiong agreed to his pursuit or not, It would not bring any trouble to Chu Xiong. It was not appropriate to completely avoid suspicion unless he really did not interact with Chu Xiong. Otherwise, if something was photographed and the fans were not in the process of accepting it, they would definitely attack Chu Xiong. He had to consider all of these before he left. After a day of careful consideration, Zhuo Yichen decided that now was the right time. He called Chu Xiong and asked for Chu Xiong's opinion. If Chu Xiong did not want to go on the show, he would of course reject the show. Chu Xiong did not mind. To her, going on the show was just for fun. Of course, it was better to do missions and have fun with Zhuo Yichen. She did not care about the poison on the internet that Zhuo Yichen had mentioned at all. After the two of them discussed it, Zhuo Yichen agreed to the show's request and allowed the show to complete the post-production plan. The show valued their IQ very much. Based on the situation of the previous phone call partners, they deliberately set up a more difficult game segment. After the show started recording, Zhuo Yichen called for everyone to surround the director as soon as he heard about the game segment. What is the meaning of this? We have to calculate questions, play chess, do intelligence games, go up and down hills, jump over fences, and even a game in the sea. Are you guys going to do it today? The director coughed twice. Everyone, please return to your seats. The mission is about to start. A few of the MCs protested. No, this is torturing us to death. Yes, your show's crew can go and try it. Aren't they bullying me because I'm not smart enough? I can't even pass the first 2 levels. The director glanced at Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong and said helplessly, "We can't do anything about it, okay? If you want to blame someone, blame Yichen and Chu Xiong for being too outstanding. How can we play a normal game with such a setting?" Zhuo Yichen spread his hands innocently. "So blame us for being too outstanding. Narcissist." A few of the MCs jokingly threw a bunch of flowers at them. Zhuo Yichen smiled and blocked for Chu Xiong. He said, "How about this? If we get first place, we'll share the reward with the brothers and sisters. How about that? Is this okay?" No, you're humiliating us. We definitely don't want it. Hey, if you don't want it, I want it. Chen, let's form an alliance. Share the reward with me. Everyone laughed and set a new rule. If someone else won, they would win. If Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong won, they would share the reward with everyone. Who asked this episode to be so difficult because of them? Zhuo Yichen looked at Chu Xiong and asked with a smile, "Are you ready? Let's start." "No problem, I'll guess." The first level was a competition of guessing. Chu Xiong was the behind-the-scenes staff, so she did not care about the number of scenes. Therefore, she directly gave the role with more scenes to Zhuo Yichen. Zhuo Yichen also understood what she meant. He nodded and stood in front of her. The show's crew deliberately increased the difficulty. The questions included animals, vehicles, cartoon characters, song titles, and so on. Zhuo Yichen used a variety of body language and expressions to explain various questions. Chu Xiong guessed the answer in an average of 3 seconds. Once, Zhuo Yichen compared himself with the number 7. Chu Xiong actually guessed the title of his 7th single in an instant. The two of them passed the next level at an amazing speed. The other 5 teams had only reached the 3rd and 4th question. They were stunned to see the two of them happily high-fiving each other and running to the next level. The second level was to sing karaoke while doing math questions. The song in the end had to reach 80 points. The math questions had to be solved correctly to pass. They could repeat the challenge. There was a long list of math questions. 6 digits plus 5 digits minus 4 digits plus 5 digits plus 6 digits minus. Moreover, each person had to solve one question. They could not help each other solve the question. The staff member asked, "Do you need to take a break first? Clear your mind." Zhuo Yichen's college entrance examination was tutored by Chu Xiong. The two of them knew very well what level Zhuo Yichen was at. They looked at each other and smiled. "No need. Let's start." The song was very difficult. Chu Xiong and Zhuo Yichen each held a microphone and sang at the same time accurately at the screen. Both of them were very good at singing. When they sang together, they would mimic each other's voices. When their voices were combined together, it was very pleasant to the ears. The two staff members who were holding the question cards at the side had forgotten to raise their cards. It was only when Chu Xiong waved at them that they showed the questions. Chu Xiong and Zhuai Chen looked at the questions from time to time and then looked at the lyrics on the screen. A few staff members were holding back their laughter. This was the result of their brainstorming. The math questions also included a lot of advancement and abdication. They might not get it right if they did the math alone. It would be strange if they could get it right by singing and distracting themselves. The song lasted for 4 minutes. When the song ended, the screen showed a high score of 95 points. The staff member immediately asked, "What's the answer to the math question?" "Answer it in 5 seconds. Chu Xiong said without thinking. "Yes." Zhuai Chen took the microphone from Chu Xiong's hand and put it together with his. He said confidently, "Mine is." The answers were pasted on the back of the question board. The two staff members wrote down their numbers and opened the answers to compare. Surprisingly, not a single number was correct. "Yeah, we passed." Chu Xiong and Zhuai Chen smiled and high-fived. They ran to the staff member and took the pass card from him. They continued to the next location. The cameraman gave the two staff members a close-up. Their expressions of doubt were very funny. The next level was physical work. The production team built a very steep uphill and downhill slope. The two of them had to go up to the top to pick up 2 things. After that, they had to go down and climb over a 2.5-meter tall fence. Zhuai Chen rolled up his sleeves. "I'll give it a try first. It looks a little dangerous." Chu Xiong cheered him on. "Go ahead. You can do it." Zhuai Chen stared at the top and ran up in a spurt of energy. He looked down and smiled. "Yes, let's do it together." Chu Xiong nodded. "Okay." Zhuai Chen did not film the variety show just to complete the mission. He still had to consider some fun scenes. Seeing that the slope was quite shaky, he sat down and smiled. "I haven't gone down a slide in a long time. Move aside. Let's see how far I can go." Chu Xiong walked to the side and laughed. "Don't come down with your face on the ground." Zhuai Chen smiled and slid down. He raised his hands and made a handsome pose. Unexpectedly, he slid very slowly and stopped after a third of the way down. He touched the flat surface of the board and was speechless. "This isn't slippery." He slid down a little and suddenly slipped on the part that was not slippery. He lost his balance and flipped over on his side. He slid down slowly in a strange posture. He was shocked. He looked at Chu Xiong and laughed. "It's a mistake. It's a mistake. I can run down as fast as lightning." He tried to get up and save his dignity. However, the slide seemed to be against him. He tried to stand up but slipped and missed his footing. He quickly used his hands and legs to stabilize himself. It was so funny. Chu Xiong laughed loudly. Zhuai Chen hurriedly got up and ran down again. His face was a little red. He smiled at the camera. "Cut out the part just now. Don't broadcast it, you hear me?" Chu Xiong pulled his hand down and smiled. "No, you must broadcast it. Don't cut out the part just now. I haven't seen such a cute little brother in a long time." "Ha ha ha," Zhuai Chen looked at her and smiled helplessly. "Are you a fake fan? Don't you know how to protect your idol's image? Don't I care about my reputation?" "What's reputation?" "I don't know. I just want my cute little brother." "Cute my ass," Zhuai Chen muttered. He pulled her wrist and walked to the starting point. Okay, stop laughing. Let's do the mission. 3, 2, 1. Let's go." Chu Xiong shouted and rushed out with him. The two of them rushed to the top of the hill at the same time and pulled off the cloth ball that was hanging on the clip. Zhuai Chen looked at the height of the slope and asked, "How is it? Are you scared?" "Well, let's rush over and climb over the wall. Don't stop." Chu Xiong gestured to him, and the two of them dove down the slope at the same time. Then they rushed directly to the front of the railing, and with a few kicks, they climbed up and flipped over in one go. We passed another level. Zhuo Chen turned around and saw that Chu Xiong had successfully completed the mission. He ran over happily and high-fived her. Aren't we too good? We can't even see the other guests. We are so far ahead. Chu Xiong smiled and said, I feel that they will be stuck at the second level. Zhuo Chen nodded and laughed. That's right. They might not be able to participate in this mission today. We can take it easy and take it as a vacation. We can take it slow. Chu Xiong looked around and pointed at a stall. Let's go there and drink something. There is ice cream over there. Let's buy some ice cream. Okay, let's go. Zhuo Chen turned around and walked in the direction she was pointing at. The two of them went to buy 2 glasses of iced fruit juice and 2 ice creams. The production crew paid for them. The staff urged them to hurry to the next mission location. They ignored them and stood in front of the stall to enjoy the scenery and eat. After taking a few glances at Chu Xiong, the ice cream seller asked tentatively, Hello, may I ask if you are Emperor Chu? Chu Xiong was stunned for a moment and nodded. Yes, that's me. Do you like to read comics? The guy said excitedly. I love your comics. Oh my god, I actually saw Chu Huang himself. Can we take a picture together? Can I have your autograph? I really like you. Chu Xiong smiled and walked to his side. She raised the ice cream in her hand and posed for a picture with him. She praised, The ice cream you make is delicious. Zhuo Chen lowered his head to eat his ice cream. However, he kept looking up at them. Chu Xiong noticed it. However, she did not say anything after taking a picture with Ice Cream Bro. After Chu Xiong signed the autograph for Ice Cream Bro, Zhuo Chen immediately said, We still have to do that mission. We have rested enough. Shall we go? Chu Xiong said goodbye to Ice Cream Bro and followed Zhuo Chen to the next mission location. Zhuo Chen looked at her ice cream and said, We are going to go to sea soon. It's not good to eat so much cold ice cream. Take it away. I'll treat you to some at the shop later. Chu Xiong sensed something and smiled. She placed the ice cream in his hand and said, Okay, here you go. She saw that he immediately ran to finish the ice cream. When he came back, he was smiling again. The smile at the corner of her mouth became even more obvious. So this guy was jealous of her. He must have been like this when they were filming together. When Huang Hao came looking for her, he wouldn't leave if he could and would just stay by her side. The puppy had grown up and knew how to protect his food. Moreover, he always talked to her in a foul voice. He was obviously up to no good. What a jerk. Chu Xiong cooperated with him perfectly. The puppy was especially adorable when he stretched out his paws. She was curious about what he would do in the future. She decided not to expose him for the time being. She would pretend that she did not know anything. The two of them ran to the next checkpoint together. The next checkpoint was to play Gamoku with an expert. The two of them were required to play against the expert. However, the two of them had to play 1 game each. They could not communicate or make eye contact. This was a little tricky. Everyone had their own habits when playing chess. If they played 1 game each, the game would be broken before the other person could lead the game back. They would have to start all over again. The opponent was an expert. It was too easy to lose. Zhuo Chen had never played chess with Chu Xiong before. He said, This seems a little difficult. I usually play Gamoku with them. How about you? Can you do it? This game is quite interesting. Let's try it. Let's begin. The two of them played 1 game each. When the production team designed this game, they thought that they would secretly communicate with each other. That would be interesting. However, the two of them did not look at each other. They were both seriously looking at the chessboard. After a few times, Chu Xiong placed a piece and was blocked by her opponent. Zhuo Chen placed another piece in another direction. Both of them laughed at the same time as they realized that the other party had completely understood their plan. Their speed of playing chess was much faster. The cameraman was taking close-up shots of the chessboard. He did not understand what they were playing. He only saw the expert blocking their side, and they blocking the expert's side. It was very impressive that they did not lose after so many rounds. There were more and more pieces on the chessboard. The speed at which the expert placed his pieces became slower and slower. Finally he came to a realization. He shook his head and said, "I lost. I admire you." The staff was a little confused. In order to write the words clearly in the post-production, he braced himself and asked, "Has the winner been decided? Can you explain?" His question would be cut out. When the expert heard this, he pointed at the chessboard excitedly. "The two of them set up a chain of traps for me. These chess pieces seem to be unrelated, but in fact, they can connect into many lines in a few moves. In other words, after a few more rounds, I won't be able to block them at all. At the same time, they have 5 places where they can connect 5 pieces to win. No one can block them." The expert exclaimed, "It's too amazing. Their strength lies not in their chess skills, but in their tacit understanding. The two of them can work together to set up a chain of traps without communicating with each other. I didn't notice their intentions at all. It's too amazing." Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong looked at each other and smiled. They successfully got another pass card. After that, they played beach minesweeper, balance beam in the sea, fishing shells for necklaces and other games. All of them were quickly cleared with great tacit understanding. When they got the reward, the other MCs only had 1 pair to reach the next 3 levels. The rest were all still stuck at the 2nd level. Everyone gathered together to share the reward and played for more than an hour at the beach before it ended. It could be said that the guests who did not pass the level had a happy memory. As soon as this episode was broadcast, the number of views reached a new high. It was even higher than the number of views of Zhuo Yichen's variety show. Chu Xiong became famous again. As the saying goes, a cartoonist who doesn't know how to climb mountains and go to sea is not a good sister. In terms of physical fitness and games, she was simply superb. Together with Zhuo Yichen, they were known as the King of Games. The combination of the two of them was known as the invincible combination. As long as they were together, they were invincible. Nothing was a problem for them. Especially when the two of them sang and did mental calculations at the same time and then passed the level in one go. When they played chess, they cooperated with each other to set up a chain of traps for their opponents. Gave people goosebumps. It was too high energy. What kind of combination was this? This was a combination of high IQ. It made the post-production add several times more text. Otherwise, there were many places where people couldn't understand how the two of them cooperated to pass the level. The two of them gained a large number of passerby fans through the 2 episodes. Moreover, they were all passerby fans who watched the original version. This kind of passerby fans with purchasing power was known as the popularity of the masses. When their names were mentioned, people would be willing to spend money to watch them. That would be true success. Zhuo Yichen and Chu Xiong's CP fans also ushered in a huge explosion. The CP fans couldn't keep a low profile even if they wanted to. Moreover, they really didn't want to keep a low profile anymore. They just wanted to party. This was what it meant to be forced to death by officials. They didn't even dare to write the fanfictions they wrote. Wasn't it too high sugar? What did it mean to have a tacit understanding between gods? What did it mean to have telepathy? The chemistry between the two of them could overflow the screen. All of Zhuo Yichen's CP paled in comparison to this CP. This episode also gave Zhuo Yichen 2 more nicknames among the CP fans. They were called Zhuo Yichen and King of Jealousy. There were many scenes of Zhuo Yichen looking at Chu Xiong. Even if they didn't look directly at her, they would subconsciously glance at her. Especially when Chu Xiong and Ice Cream Bro took a photo together. The King of Jealousy lived up to his name. He even found an excuse to give her his ice cream. His fierce and cute appearance made the CP fans very cute. Zhuo Yichen's comment about Chu Xiong being a fake fan was also very poignant. The CP fans screamed crazily in their hearts. They were more moved than if they were in a relationship. Their faces were full of anti-smiles. There were also Chu Xiong's, "Okay, And Zhuoichen's, "Okay, let's go." The two of them naturally doted on each other. They greatly doted on each other. At this time, of course, Du Wei was angry. However, Zhuoichen was once a top idol. Du Wei's fanbase was not big. Those fans who would tear into each other at the slightest disagreement had mostly left in the past 2 years. Du Wei only realized after this argument that most of Xing Chen's fans were rational fans. They didn't participate in this matter at all. No matter how unreasonable Du Wei was, he couldn't win against the CP fans. If Du Wei wanted to scold Chu Xiong, it was even more impossible. Chu Xiong's fans were worth 10 people. Even Xing Chen hated them for scolding Chu Xiong. To Xing Chen, Chu Xiong had always been one of their people who protected Zhuoichen. There was also a large group of passers-by who felt that they were looking for trouble. They kept speaking up for Chu Xiong. It was very sad to lose an argument. Even if they wanted to force a solid fan to argue, they had to win the argument. Otherwise they would lose fans. Zhuoichen's Du Wei had also started to lose fans after losing a few arguments. Zhuoichen would often become a missing person. When he came out for business, he never gave out any male benefits. He didn't give out any ink, flying kisses, sweet wake-up calls, or flirtatious dances. He was as conservative as a veteran. Now he was smiling with Chu Xiong on the show. Did he consider their feelings? Zhuoichen's initiative made it impossible for them to win an argument. They were mentally tired. They also had an inexplicable dislike for Zhuoichen. One by one they stopped being fans. In fact, many of the reasons why they stopped being fans were accumulated bit by bit. Zhuoichen's growth was a very important factor. In the past, many people liked him because of his childishness. He had the cute vitality of a boy. When he became mature and steady, he started to take care of the people around him. He didn't casually reveal his true feelings. Thus, he lost his attraction to these fans. There were still 2 outstanding youth groups in the country. They were both 14 or 15 years old boys. Most of these fans would turn to other youths. The fact that Zhuoichen was good to Chu Xiong was just an opportunity for them to stop being fans. Whether it was Du Wei girlfriend fans or fans who only liked boys, it was a good thing to stop being fans. From an idol to a capable person, from a young and immature person to a mature person, these were all stages that one had to go through. No one could retain all their fans forever. Zhuoichen had just brought this stage forward. Chu Xiong understood these situations very well. She didn't care about it. After she found out that Zhuoichen was jealous, she understood that Zhuoichen was paving the way for the future. The cute boy was only 19 years old. He was secretly planning for their future. Furthermore, he secretly liked her and wanted to become stronger. This was too much. She was wondering why Zhuoichen acted so differently in front of her and on the screen. It turned out that he had long been aware that he didn't attract any girlfriend fans. Chu Xiong looked at the videos that Zhuoichen often sent her. He was super conservative and didn't know how to flirt. Clearly, the dances that he recorded in the practice room were especially flirtatious. It was just a case. Even the scene where he bit his lip and pulled his tie was in. She was still wondering why he didn't perform these dances at the concert. It turned out that he deliberately recorded them for her to watch alone. Chu Xiong poked Zhuoichen's face on the screen. He was looking at the camera with an ascetic expression. Cute and mature puppy. Didn't seem too bad. The corners of her mouth unconsciously curled up. She took out her drawing board and started to draw. This guy was so hardworking. Of course, she wouldn't let him bear the burden alone. It wasn't that difficult to pave the way. She drew the part where Zhuoichen made a fool of himself when he was sliding down the slide. After more than a year, Zhuoichen finally showed his cute side again. He abandoned his steadiness and restraint. Even his smile was shy. Soon some CP fans got the crux of this part. Only Chu Xiong could make Zhuoichen show such a cute side. He didn't change. He just hid his cuteness and innocence. From now on, he would only show it to one person. The CP fans were overjoyed. They really believed that a rechargeable CP could wait. They were more and more convinced. When several fans were speculating whether Chu Xiong's manga was a declaration of sovereignty, Chu Xiong posted on Weibo again to promote Fleeting Years, which was about to be released on the first day of the new year. OIC Xiong V. I was fortunate enough to participate in the editing and dubbing of Fleeting Years. Everyone remembered to watch it. The fans were stunned. Wasn't Fleeting Years a very important male lead movie for Zhuai Chen? It was actually edited and dubbed by Chu Xiong. Who was it paired with? The female lead. That you're tuning in to the Whispers of Romance YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.